Friends, welcome. Welcome to the big show. Virtual Strangers, episode 142. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend, Ruuts. Ruuts, how are you doing this fine Sunday afternoon?
I'm just doing good. I was telling you, I found an amazing suit of armor for Elden Ring, and I can't wait for it to come into VR because it's such an amazing game.
I can't wait to see it because you were very descriptive about what it looked like, and now I have this badass mental picture in my head, and now I want to see it just to see how well my picture lines up with reality.
Yeah, that's what's cool is Dee was looking at it and she was like, because she was working on timestamps and I was playing, and then I turned around and she was like, oh my god, like she saw the back and she thought it was cool, but when I turned around, she's like, dude, that just looks badass. So that's what I love about those games, the Dark Soul games. The skins look so good, and this one is no different. So.
So I mean, if you're going to grind, that's kind of the one thing or one of the things that flat gaming still really has. When you get a big AAA release, it's just pretty, right? Everything just looks pretty, and it's a bit of a shock when you move over from, what is pretty much a standalone dominated VR, catalog right now in the AAA flat. I'd say it's pretty jarring, especially at first, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's why I want to see this game in VR, man. And that's why I don't care if it's exactly as it is with the same controller, same schematics. Actually, I prefer it that way, because it's my chill game. But I was going through this castle today in the side of this mountain, and I'm roaming around for an hour and a half trying to find just the lever to get down to the dungeon so Mash and I can fight that thing. And it was also a way to get through to the next area. And the scope of this thing, I guarantee in VR, especially if you're at the level of the guy behind him in third person, you're going to be looking up at 200-300 foot. I mean, it's amazing, Wes. It's going to blow your mind in VR, especially, but even flat, it blows my mind. And it has everything, so it's cool.
Well, here's our hope, right? Because this game specifically, are we ever going to see it in VR? Probably not. Something like this would have to be kind of designed. Well, you would think so, but there's hope. There's always hope that the PC version gets a performance patch, and if the PC version gets a performance patch that makes a fairly significant difference with the performance of the game, then we always have our Luke Ross, we always have our Prey Dog, we have these guys that we can fall back on to kind of right the ship and get these games into the headset for us. So who knows? Maybe in a year, we'll be playing Elden Ring in VR. But regardless of that, in a year we'll be playing PlayStation VR too. So. Yeah. I'm sure we'll have plenty of Elden Rings and games like that to come.
Yeah, and that's where I would expect it to be. VR Spry Guy wanted to know if you are in Fallout 4. You've been streaming it, right?
I am. This is
the background.
This is Diamond City. This is actually literally where I ended my last stream at. Like I made it here, and I thought I was going to be playing in Diamond City my last stream because I finished up that side mission where I had to clear the factory out of all the raiders or what have you, and I kind of gathered that settlement. They said they're going to become Minutemen now, and I said, all right, let's go on to Diamond City, and it took me my whole stream, like 2.5 hours just to get there, because you can't fast travel until you get there for the first time. So literally I had to go across the map. I ran across a couple of little small side things that took my attention, and literally by the time I got there, it was time to end the stream. But it was a good fun time, even not having progressed the story at all. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to getting back in. But Roots, I don't know if I'm going to have time, man. There's so many games coming out in March. Like today's show is just jam-packed with new releases. Last week's show jam-packed with new releases. And I don't know, coming from one month to another, if we've ever seen this kind of a swing like we have from February to March this year. It's nuts.
No, no, and it actually started a little early, right? We were going to do Mod Month, and then it turned into, everything's gotten pushed back because games keep coming out, and we know a lot of stuff down the pipe that is about to come out that hasn't been announced, and so yeah, I don't think it's ever been this busy, and it's exciting, right?
Yeah, it's exciting. So here's my thing. Like, so I want to get back into Fallout, which I will. Don't worry, Radio Run. I don't know if Radio Run's in the chat or not, but don't worry. I will be getting back into Fallout at least one day this week. But then yesterday, Return to Rapture Chapter 2 came out
Ooh.
for Half-Life Alyx, the outstanding BioShock mod, which has literally over 10,000 assets from the original game, and Chapter 2 supposedly just, leagues ahead of what Chapter 1 was. But I don't want to go into Chapter 2 without finishing Chapter 1. So there's that, right? I want to play that. Then there's Knock, which everyone is raving about, saying that it's awesome. It's this great game. It's only $10. And on top of that, Roots, they just sent me one of those 30% off things.
Ooh,
So
perfect
like,
timing.
yeah. So, I mean, and that's just three of them. I mean, we've got Hitchhiker, which we just got a key for that I want to check out. And then as you'll see as we move down the list today, that there's probably another 4 or 5 bangers that I want to put some time into. And I'm just gonna have to quit my job, man. I think it's what I'm gonna have to do.
Make this your job. You saw the interview with Alex and Skiva, right? We just need to go down that road. And so,
Yeah.
Upload VR. Wes is ready to be your head writer. And let's bring him on. You'd be shocked.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alex made it sound so simple, man. You just got to go to the trade shows and meet people.
I'll tell you
That's all
what.
you got to do. Just
I think it is that simple. If that's of course, is my belief. I believe if that's what God ordained for you, you're going to go to the show. You're gonna meet people, and things are just going to fall into place. You're going to network, and that's exactly what God obviously had in planned for Alex and Skiva, because everything did fall into place. And what an amazing story! I just thought it was such a good interview. So.
yeah, I came this close to attempting to go to GDC this year with MASH, and I talked myself out of it. Because I do want to start doing these things, and I want to pick, and I can't go to everyone. I'm not some rich dude that can just afford to jet set all the time. I got to take off work to do stuff like that, and it's rather
Costly.
expensive. So I've got to pick and choose, and I am going to start doing some more of this stuff over the next year. So I kind of talked myself out of GDC, and now as it approaches, as it gets nearer, I'm like, man, what if PSVR 2's there, Roots? And it probably won't be, but what if it is? And then I chose to stay home.
That's crazy. I still feel like, and maybe this is just wishful thinking, that it's going to be there. Now, I think Mash was saying yesterday, he didn't specify on his 12-hour plus stream, that even more news is coming out, or maybe it was you, that doesn't sound like it's going to be there at GDC at all. So,
Well,
I don't know.
here's the thing. We were when we were speculating that there might be some Sony presence at GDC this year, it was based on historical precedent from the original PSVR launch and the event that they held at GDC in 2016. Back then, by this time, the press had already received invitations to the event that Sony was putting on for PlayStation VR. It wasn't a secret anymore. So I'm highly skeptical that there's going to be anything there. I think if there's any kind of PSVR 2 presence there, there might be a few technical talks about how to develop for it. It is the Game Developers Conference.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll reveal a game. Maybe they'll reveal 2 games. I don't think there's going to be anything like demos or anything like there was in 2016. But there might be some nice tidbits to talk about coming out of it. And I'm super glad and grateful that we have Mash, who's going to be there on the floor. So whatever does take place, we got a man on the scene, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got the press pass, right? I think so.
Yeah. He's fully credentialed. Absolutely.
Yeah. How cool.
Anyway, That's enough jibber jabber. We have a lot of news to get to, and I mean a lot of news to get to. So why don't we kick it off the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. Immersed Robot, Gary with us for the second week in a row. What's up, Gary? He said, I wish we had more trade shows in the UK. I definitely go to plenty of those. It's just too expensive to travel to the US for a lot of them. That is true. But I think I read yesterday or the day before that what's the one in London? Is it Gamescom that's in London? I think they're going back to in person this year. They're doing digital stuff too, but I do think that Gamescom is going to be live in London again this year. So you do have the opportunity to go to that one, and it generally turns out to be pretty awesome, especially for VR games. I know every time we talk to GT about some awesome game that's come out within the last year to year and a half, he's like, "Oh yeah, I played that at Gamescom 3 years ago." You know what I mean? Gamescom's a good one, so maybe Gary would have the opportunity to check that one out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wolveraza says graphics still run second fiddle to gameplay in VR as always. Agreed, Wolveraza. I'm on your team when it comes to this. I do prefer the immersion of VR, and I'm willing to make some sacrifices in other departments to have that 3D presence going on. So
gameplay has to be engaging. Well, I'll tell you what. You know, that's the whole conversation they're talking about is Knock, right? And versus Wanderer for VR Game of the Year. And who was it? Hussein X basically said Knock is too graphically simple. Wanderer's Game of the Year so far, even though he hasn't played either, but does own the latter. And I would suggest, I think Knock is about to just go. Like I was just talking to everybody I've talked to that's played it, said it's amazing. And for the people that love that type of game, they're going to love it. And people are comparing to playing even Scion's baby, you know, except for not as toxic, you know,
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it always starts off like that. It's what happens after it gets popular. That's the question.
True. That's true.
But I would like to point out, you know, without having read any of this conversation, that Wanderer has a lot more to offer than just graphics. That's an excellent game. So yeah, a game of the year contender, I would say so. Yeah, certainly. Maybe. How many games have I finished this year? That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head so far.
That's true. That says a lot. Even with a little bit of issues that you had, you still pushed through it because you loved it so much.
Very, very good game. Hussein X is here, as is Jim Hall. What's up, Jim Hall? How's it going, buddy? Zayla Maru is here. I'm tempted to pick up Wanderer, but I generally don't enjoy puzzlers. Well, it is a puzzler. It's a unique one. I mean, I guess Flow Weaver would probably be the closest thing I could think of to it, but I mean, even that's not really accurate description. It's kind of its own game, which is a good thing. Thomas McNostril is here. What's up, Thomas? Immersed Robot. Gary says Gamescom is in Germany, although it's not too far from me. Well, there you go. This the Game Cat. What's up? Hello, friend. Traveling Man 3775. He says you'd steal the limelight away from the others anyway. Wes. All right. I'm.
If you went to the trade show GDC.
Oh, I got you. Thank you. You're so kind. Thank you. You're right. You're right. I mean, I try to be modest. But you know, sometimes it just comes out. Charisma roots. Charisma is what they call it.
That's right.
Adam Doyle is here. What's up, Adam Doyle?
Mash made it.
Right. Too much to do right now. Hard to do with kids. Yeah, dude. It's hard to do what I already do with kids in a job. You know, and VR is just doing this right here. So I need my hours at work to just kind of do this right here.
Need to win a bunch of money, right? Win the lotto. Mash Daddy Cool says, "Yo, I made it." He must have crashed. Did you crash for a long time, Mash?
Well, he's been busy and at it today already. I can tell you that they had a mod meeting over there at the Q2C. That's what wifey was doing while I was working on the show this morning.
Oh, nice.
So those guys are all over it as usual over there. EV Man versus Gas is here, as is Techno Glitch. He says Jedi when. Well, we're going to talk about Jedi. I don't know when. Spoiler alert: we don't know when. But it looks cool, and that's what we're basically going to say in so many words. It looks cool. Who else is here? Space Denizens here. What's up, Void Cat? Yo yo. Chinatown D looks amazeballs indeed. Elden Ring looks amazeballs.
I think she was talking about my armor.
Oh, talking about the armor specifically.
Yeah, and the game, but
sounds like my style. Your armor sounds like my style, Roots.
Yeah, and there's so many other ones. You're gonna love it.
Spry Guy in the house. Always good to have Spry Guy on Sunday. And Felipe, the best pea in the pod. Laras.
He is the best. He's way better than Kyle.
He won the Room VR, didn't he, the other day?
Yeah, he was the winner. Absolutely.
Big congrats on that. And by the way, while we've got Eric in the house here, let me just say, Eric, the Room VR, today's daily deal. You might want to pick a few keys up. Just saying. It's like $20 right now. You can't beat it.
Yeah, you could beat it. You can't beat it. For sure.
You know who can beat it, Roots?
My mom!
She loves to beat it. You gotta slap her hand every once in a while. Stop.
Anyway, on that note, let's kick into some headlines. What do you say? And I was starting to think we weren't going to have any hardware stuff to talk about this week, and then all of a sudden we had this little story come from out of nowhere here. The Magic Leap 2 controller may use onboard inside-out tracking. And I just wanted to kind of point this out. You know, none of us really care about Magic Leap 2, but what I do care about is this inside-out controller tracking. And the reason why is because Brad Lynch has speculated on more than one occasion that one of the upcoming Oculus headsets, whether it be Cambria or Quest 3, one of those headsets is going to use this very same tracking technology.
Ooh.
And it eliminates the ring on the controller, but more importantly, it eliminates that zone that you have to keep your hands in. Once the cameras are on the controllers, then it doesn't matter where you put your hands at. It's tracked everywhere. And this basically, Roots, is the last straw. It's the death knell for outside-in tracking. This is the end of base stations, is this technology right here. And I just wanted to point it out that here we have the first example of this in a consumer product, and I'm sure it will not be the last.
Are you going to miss the ring? How weird is that going to be to have a controller in your hand that doesn't have a ring on it? I guess you're going to feel like you have a Vive wand, kind of, except for it'll actually have a joystick on it.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's going to be actually, I mean, you can tell by looking at the things there. It's kind of a minimalistic thing, really. It's a very small, and I got to imagine, very natural feeling thing. But it's going to be a while before we get used to that because, you know, as we know, we're moving to the PSVR 2 era, and that thing's going to have rings on rings. But you know, it's actually, I think, using the PSVR 2 controllers, it's going to feel more like these than a touch controller because the way the rings actually go over your hand instead of sticking out, really they won't. They're made that way to not interfere. So, yeah, I mean, as someone who uses the Reverb G2 as his daily driver, I kind of look forward to those rings going away. That thing has oversized rings on it, and it's not always an issue. It's most of the time it's fine, but every now and then you knock it into your headset when you're trying to aim down sights, and I'll be happy when that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas McNostril wants to know, are the cameras up to a good whack on a table? Well, let me ask you this. Are any controllers up to a good whack on the table? You know, I mean, we've all hit something, and thank God I've never broke my controller, but I've seen so many pictures of people saying, I broke my controller, and I'm thinking, how the hell did you break it? Well, I'm assuming they had a good whack on the table. So, you know, I think it'll be probably just as strong as everything else, right?
Dude, when I played Fallout on Tuesday, I smacked the shit out of my door. Like I hit it, I hit it hard. Had I stepped 2 feet to the right, I would have crushed my TV.
Oh
Like it
my
would have
God.
been another dead TV. But I got out of my chair. I was crossing this bridge on my way to Diamond City, and there's this part where there's like a shipwreck, and kind of down on the river, there's a raider in a power suit, and he has a little crew with him. And I decided to take those guys out, but I couldn't, from my sitting position, I couldn't see over the railing on the bridge. So I stood up, and they were standing right under me. And I was like, I'm just going to drop a Molotov on these dudes and burn them alive. So I got the Molotov out, and I went to throw it, and bam, smacked the
Oh,
shit out of my door.
it's
My controller shut off immediately, which ended up in game making the Molotov freeze in midair.
oh.
So so what happened was I pressed the power button to turn my controller back on, and as soon as my controller paired with the computer again, the Molotov dropped at my feet and caught myself on fire. So like it was bad all the way around.
That's funny, man. It's something about you and throwing stuff, right? First it was a fish. Thank God it wasn't the
Yeah.
TV. That's crazy, right? And
I gotta stay in my chair, dude.
well, okay, two things. Stay in the chair is good, but I remember you turning your your guardian off, right? And you said literally your words were, "Well, I'm going to be in my chair." Well, as soon as you get out of the chair, it negates all of that, and now you're
Yep.
possibly punching stuff. But how crazy though? This is the thing. This is what I'm thinking. As I'm hearing your story, how I know we get immersed in games, but when stuff like that happens, that tells you that everything is right. The game, the gameplay, everything is drawing you in. Now you're in this place. Now you're gonna Molotov that fucker. You forgot that you're in your room. You might be standing next to your door or your TV. Just it's just so good.
Yeah, it brings you back to reality really quickly. Bam! Like, oh, it blew up on me. No, it didn't, but it's going to.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, the moral of the story is I look forward to having ringless controllers, and that's what Leap's going to have. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing what Magic Leap 2 is going to be. Obviously, I'm not going to drop the ridiculous amount of money to get one of these things.
Noah.
But we talked a few weeks back about the screen technology that they're using in this thing. This is a entirely different product from its predecessor, and I think that this is actually something to be kind of excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we know the technology is coming to the controller as well. Wolf Raza says that that it could be problematic. The camera. He's worried about it. Well, I guess you didn't say he was worried about it, but it seems problematic. I don't know, man. I feel like if they're going this completely new direction, sounds like they've solved the issue that we've been, talking about. So, which will be cool.
And if it doesn't work, I mean, we're not talking about HTC here. Oculus, if Oculus puts this in their product, it's going to work, I assure you. Otherwise, they won't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move along to the next item. This one I found kind of interesting. Muse, this is a company called Muse, set to launch a VR compatible EEG headband. So we talked last year about a possible Valve Index prototype that was scheduled to have dev kits go out in January to February of this year, which had basically brain sensors built into it. And basically what this Muse company is building here is something similar, only this isn't tethered to a headset, but rather will be compatible with all the various different headsets. So this is something that you can kind of wear and slip your Oculus Quest on over it, and there will be some kind of interface that allows these games to interact directly on a very basic level, of course, with your brainwave activity and other biometric data. Again, it's just advancement of the technology. What's really notable about this type of thing is what I just said. This is kind of this is what Gaben's current passion is this kind of technology. So to see it come out in in a consumer product, I mean, I think they said this thing's scheduled for Q2 this year. I mean, this is going to be out really, really soon. And there are practical applications for this with regards to games. It makes me think back to one of the first games I bought on PC was a game called Nevermind.
Oh yeah.
And Nevermind, you remember Nevermind?
Yeah, I remember
it was
you
a horror
talking about it.
game. Yeah, it's a horror game that is compatible with certain kind of biometric sensors, typically things that measure your pulse and blood pressure. But never mind, the hook with it was it's a horror game that can tell what scares you as you play it, and then it leans into that thing, whatever it may be. It's a really cool concept for a game, actually. You're kind of working at this psychiatric institute. You're a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and you're working on patients who have had trauma, PTSD, and you're going into their mind, into their nightmares to kind of help them resolve it. So you're kind of constantly in this ever changing nightmare scape. And then if you use the biometric sensor, it supposedly is able to read what scares you and tailor the experience to you personally. Which I can't vouch for how well that worked or it didn't work, but I can tell you that like a Halo, like this product here, would be much more effective at that sort of application. And I'd like to see the developers give it another shot. I like the idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, pretty much especially for horror, I don't know exactly what it reads or what our brains do or what it could sense, right? But if it could sense what you don't like or what freaks you out, like if you're really afraid of clowns and you go in there and there's a clown and it's kind of testing you, right? The AI, and you like get this sensor and then all of a sudden there's like really fucked up clowns or they're around every corner or you know what I mean? Like it exponentially gets crazier. That would be the way to really mess with people in VR, right? But or like for Radio Runt, it would just be spiders, right, everywhere, and
They're right.
it'd just be crazy. I think it'd be cool. I think it could be a really good addition, and it could be I don't know. Again, I don't know how this could affect it, but supernatural, right? Because you have all those different. I mean, people could die playing that. That would be a good way to tell people, hey, look, you need to take it off. You know, you're starting to, everything's elevating. Yeah. So.
Yeah. The possibilities are endless, and I always like to point back to that quote from Gabe, and that people don't quite realize how close we are to the Matrix. Like it's not that far off. So yeah, exciting times.
Yep.
Space Innocent asked, is Nevermind cool? I got it, never tried it. It's a great concept. I enjoyed what I played of it at that time. This was years ago, mind you. Really, the issue with it was performance back then. Maybe it would run better on a modern system. But back then, with my 1080 Ti and my 8700K, it was horribly shimmery. Like it was really, really bad aliasing. Although I did find a setting. It was like kind of like a VR specific setting because it wasn't just a VR game. It was a flat game first that they adapted for VR. But there was a VR graphics setting, like a checkbox, and I don't even remember what it was. But checking that box really reduced the aliasing a whole lot and made it a lot better. But yeah, it was a cool concept for a game. But with that said, it was kind of like right down my alley. This is the type of game I like. So I don't know. I don't know if you'd like it or not like it. To be quite honest, I don't remember a whole lot of it. It was a really, really long time ago. But I do remember I enjoyed what I played of it.
Yeah,
I think it'd be worth a look.
Yeah, let us know if you play it. So whether it's good or not. So
absolutely. PD's joining us. What's up, PD? Kyle Kitchings is here. What's up, Kyle Kitchings? Dark Angel. How about no? She says.
Radio Runt and her would be holding hands and dying in a corner. You must not like spiders either. Well, this is my thing. This goes back to that whole conversation we had last week about getting some people being ready for the chip and the the brain to where they could be right in VR, and other people are like, I'm a little skeptical of that. Well, what if you're really quick to say, yeah, let's do it? You get in there and you get into an experience like that, and there are spiders everywhere, and you're like, oh, I'm out of here, and you can't get out. I'll pose that to you, Dark.
That sounds like a great
movie
plot for a movie.
Yeah, it does.
Can't wake up. It's kind of like
Brain
was that Nightmare on Elm Street 3?
Oh God,
You get trapped in there with Freddy and
I don't.
Dude, where's the Nightmare on Elm Street VR game? We need that.
That would be cool, especially with this
I
technology.
mean, with the finger tracking, just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you could be Freddy. Who doesn't want to be Freddy, right?
That's right. Anyway, moving along. Hey guys, have you heard this PS5 thing? All the kids are going on and on about it. People say you can't get it, but I beg to differ because GameStop will hold a PS5 in-store sale event this Friday, and over 1,000 stores are going to have PS5s. Now, granted, they say 4 to 8 each store. But over 1,000 stores coast to coast. Yeah. I say people are looking for these, and basically, I mean, is there anyone left in our community looking for one of these? We've found one for everyone at this point, haven't we?
Yeah, but the thing is D-Rail still watches this, and he said he hasn't seen them for months, and so that's another reason why I'm kind of wondering exactly what's going on with, if there's no one's selling these, if nobody can get a hold of them, what's going on, right? It's just so many questions. If this was 4 or 5 years ago, we could speculate in so many different ways, but I mean, really, none of us knows exactly what's happening. There's just so much weirdness going on, and just in the general in the world. So hopefully, we'll start seeing them on. I guess we're going to be seeing them at the sale, right? March 11th.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And when you see the the periods of time in between console drops get longer, typically I look at that and I think they're stockpiling them so that when they do sell them, they have enough to go around, right? Because a lot of times that they sell out in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I bet they'd love to have them in stock for 10. You know what I mean? And the only way they can really do that is just by sitting on them until they've got a little supply, and then go live with them. So, yeah. At any rate, you might want to talk to your local GameStop and buy a tent.
I think this might have just happened, right? I think it was March 11th.
Was it last? Oh, well, my bad.
That was just Friday, but
my bad.
But either way, this really sheds light on the whole PlayStation 5 kabobble or whatever's going on. Like I said, I think it adds credibility to what Brian Paul was saying, or their news about the PS5s possibly being held back because of the consoles aren't out there, right? Like,
yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. But I thought I was giving people a heads up here. So yeah, my bad. Well, here's the good news, Roots. It wasn't. They were selling bundles. It wasn't like you could just go in there and pick up a console. Like you had to buy an $800 bundle. It's a pretty good bundle. I mean, don't get me wrong. Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, DualSense charging station, HyperX headset, and a $50 PlayStation Store gift card. So it's a pretty tight bundle, but
is that the
still, you got to drop
version, or I'm assuming? I guess it would have to be, right?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I'll tell you what. For somebody that didn't, when I got it on Facebook Marketplace after your suggestion, I could have got it in bundle, and didn't do it, and then ended up getting the console for about the same price as the bundle, just because it was just the way it worked out, right? So sometimes those bundles are a really good deal.
Island Kara says, Wes, make sure you change your clocks also. Yeah, so my clocks are all good. Thank you.
She loves your
Dan
shirt.
Kim. Right. Dan Kim says, I still can't get a PS5. I tried the Walmart restock and I never got the checkout. I spoke to someone who tried that very same restock and did make a checkout,
Oh,
and now has a PS5.
oh,
So what you want to do, Dan Kim, is scroll down to the description below. You'll see an invitation to our Discord on there. If you haven't joined already, join our Discord. You'll find a channel in there that's dedicated just to hardware, and our guy D-Rail keeps people up to date with all of the drops, be it Walmart or Target or Best Buy, Newell, what have you. He keeps people up to speed, typically days ahead of time. And typically, if people are trying all the drops, they end up getting one. So I suggest you do that. And for what it's worth, Technoglitch says that there is a PS5 Walmart console drop tomorrow. This one for Plus members only, so you have to have that membership. 9 a.m. Pacific time, noontime Eastern. So anybody who's interested in and still needs their PlayStation 5 might want to give that a shot.
yeah, yeah. You don't want to go. I would never go to something like this. You got 4 to 8 per store. If your store happens to be one of them, you better be there first, right? And like you said, camping out. Nah. Rather get a whole derail.
Space Innocent says if it doesn't come with the Elden Ring, it's crap. and Virtual Steve is with us. What's up, Steve? He says Elden Ring is the only game you need. He's joking, but it's really good.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I can't find anybody outside of Summit that said that they didn't like it, and that's just because he wants the traditional Dark Soul game. It's awesome.
Right. He has those preconceived expectations, and like Pepsi can be your favorite drink, but if you think you're about to take a drink of orange juice and it turns out to be Pepsi, it tastes like garbage, right? And I think that's what happened to your guy Summit there. He thought he was getting a drink of
Coke,
orange juice, and
yeah. Or he thought it was chocolate milk and it was like water or something. Like, what is this crap?
Like from the toilet?
From the toilet, yeah.
Anyway, let's talk a little bit about VR hardware. Let's talk about Steam VR and the fact that now more than half of the VR headsets used on Steam are Quests, Roots, not just Oculus headsets. Half of the headsets used on Steam VR, think about that, half on Steam VR, Quest. How nuts is that? Quest has been around for, what, less than 3 years?
Right. Well, and then the Quest 2, I bet you most of those aren't even Quest 1s anymore. So, I mean, it's only been around a couple of years or less than a couple of years. It's crazy, man. It just shows you how quickly things are going because of the games, but really because the hardware is actually accessible to people. And so they're finally able to get into PC VR, right? They get this $300 headset and they're now able to play everything. And it's like crazy. Exactly.
And it just makes me think back to all those people who were talking about how the Oculus Quest was going to kill PC VR. That's not what I'm seeing here. That is not what I'm seeing at all. What I'm seeing is a resurgence of PC VR because of all of the new users coming into the VR ecosystem. Just like we said, right, Roots?
Yeah, absolutely. Should have just listened to us. But that's the thing. Like even Mash last night, he was playing on his Quest 2, 13 hours, overheated it because he played it 13 hours straight. And he could have played with his Index, right? But he didn't. He wanted to play wireless. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, and the next
pretty good perk, right? Free wireless. It's pretty good perk for a $300 headset.
Yeah, and it works well. It works really well. And if for whatever reason the Oculus Link is having a hiccup, you go to Virtual Desktop, and it works just as well, if not better. So,
and people whenever you say it's a $300 headset, that they're very quick to go, well, actually, most people are going to get the $400 one, and then you have to buy a strap, and you have to buy. It's closer to $500. Yeah, but wireless adapters almost cost $400. You know what I mean? Like it's still, even at $500 for all the features and quality that you get with that is just, it's nuts. And absolutely a driver for PC VR right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really doesn't matter what peripherals people are going to buy, what size they're going to buy, what ultimately, if they buy every single thing and they end up spending $1,000, guess what got them get into VR? It's only $300. This is the way, that's how marketing works, right? And that's how people get their foot in the door, they get the headset. And this is the thing, they wear the jock strap for 2 months because they save up for the peripheral. It doesn't matter. They're now in VR. You know what I mean? So that argument to me is BS. It's just a scrambling to try to justify an argument against what we're saying. And you're wrong. No, I don't know. I think.
Shout out to our newest community member, Chris, my guy from work, as he just ordered a Bobo VR M2 Pro with the extra battery. So his experience is about to be upgraded immensely.
How awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, that makes a big difference, man. It's just
it is
huge. Now, don't try to do it 13 hours straight, Chris, because it probably, well, maybe if you don't stream at the same time, you'll be okay. I don't know.
Well, as long as he keeps those batteries cycling, he should be all right.
Yeah. Well, did you see the end of Mash's stream last night? It literally.
I did not. I was at work.
Yeah, no, it literally got to the last round they were trying to go through, and everything was cutting in and out. It was choppy for him, for everybody watching, because it literally it overheated and shut down. But it took about 13 hours to do that, which is pretty good, right?
That's ridiculous. That's too much VR, bro. Especially for a friggin' horde mode. That's crazy.
Well, they played some Nightmare. They switched back and forth, which was pretty cool. So,
yeah, that is cool. And about for what it's worth, shout out Eric, shout out GT, shout out you, Roots. I had a blast yesterday.
That was so much fun, right?
Yeah. I look forward to getting back in there. It was a lot of fun. Immersed Robot says Airlink and Virtual Desktop provide infinitely more value to an already fantastic headset. And for those of you out there who are saying, okay, yeah, so half of the headsets on Steam are Quest, but most of those people are like Gary, right? Or like Eric, people who are already on Steam, who just have Quest now as another headset. They're not really, how many of these 50% are actually new users? Well, I'm glad you asked, because the next headline talks a little bit about that, as VR users on Steam grew by 11% in 2021 and unique play sessions by 22%. So here it is, proof positive, folks. PCVR growing, and no question about it, 100% driven by the advent of affordable, accessible standalone VR.
Do you think that game companies see these numbers? No, just kidding. This is why PC VR is not dead, and this is why it's not going to be dead. And this is I don't know, man. If the numbers keep growing like this, which they're going to, we may see, and this is hopeful, crossing fingers. But how amazing would it be if Sony did decide to go all in and say, you know what, we're gonna sell our console, our headset to the PC as well. That's just probably not going to happen, but that'd be awesome. So,
well, here's the thing. Like, I wouldn't think that that's something that they want to do. But it is on a USB-C interface. Like, that headset's going to be used for PC VR whether they want it to or not.
Yeah.
So now they're faced with this kind of question of, do they support it? I mean, and I don't think that they're going to be putting any kind of preventative means that are going to stop people from using it. So why not profit from it? Obviously, I'm not talking about putting your games on PC, like your exclusive, first party exclusive PlayStation titles, but unlock it to run on Steam VR, maybe, especially after the supply issues go away. Like, if there's an abundance of them, if you can buy them on store shelves, then I don't see why they wouldn't want to unlock it for that extra use case and sell more hardware.
Yeah, especially we can imagine that would kind of solve the problem of not releasing and not having enough people to sell to, and selling to everybody. Of course, you're probably limited in how many you have to sell. So I'm sure that would be down the road.
Thomas McNostril says I've grown sideways by 11%. Yeah, haven't we all? Got supernatural, bro. That's what you need. You need some supernatural in your life.
Yeah, that works.
Adam Doyle says I bought a PC because of the Quest. Well, there you go.
Yeah, and if people can't afford it, there's going to be Pluto spheres, and I just was reading a technology that was saying that they were going to be able to like double or triple the SSD space that they're doing that they're able to do now, and how that was going to be able to be incorporated into these clouds, and like, you know what I mean? Everything's exponentially going faster. So I think, I've said it before, the cloud is the future. So.
Oh yeah, it's this next generation. Like Quest 3 is going to have this kind of functionality. Will it be able to stream 5G? I don't know. But by the time like 2023, 2024 rolls around, this type of Pluto sphere solution is going to be something that's common, and people aren't going to need a PC to play PC VR anymore. Not only that, but I mean, speculation is Valve is going to have standalone out that runs PC VR on the hardware itself. So I mean, PC VR isn't really even going to be PC VR anymore in a few years. It's just going to be another VR. I'm sure they'll still call it PC VR, but you won't need a PC for it anymore.
No, it'll be cloud gaming. So
absolutely. Gary says Pluto Sphere is no joke. It's very impressive for what it. Yeah, I couldn't believe how well it worked. Like, I was surprised. It was like virtual desktop for me. Like, I mean, there were issues with it, but they weren't really performance issues for me. I mean, it was just issues I have with the service, stuff that they can work out if they really want to.
Then they will, as it goes along.
Absolutely. It's a beta on SideQuest. It'll get better for sure, especially after
Oculus
Meta rips it off. After Meta rips it off, it'll be great.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. As soon as Meta puts out their version of it, it's going to be like amazing, because right now they're just beta testing his version through them. So
right. Yeah, they haven't even befriended them yet, so that they can stab them in the back. We haven't even made it to that level yet.
It's coming.
No, it is. You better believe it is. Anyway, speaking of metas, why don't we move along to some metaverse headlines, and let's talk about our friend Gabe. We've brought his name up a few times already in today's show. Making headlines. What is this? The fourth week in a row we're talking about something that Gabe said. Blasting the metaverse, quote, get rich quick schemes. So the last few weeks in a row, we've come on here, and I've been sharing with you what I call the big number stories, where some company has put some large amount of money into some VR or metaverse startup in the kind of rush for the metaverse, the new digital gold rush that is the metaverse right now. Gabe pretty much blasted all of this shit and called it what it is. It's a get rich quick scheme. And he said most of these people are going to fail, because you can't really tell what the metaverse is going to be just quite yet. It's still in its formative stages, and people are all kind of throwing their eggs into the same basket of this one vision of where it might go, and it could be successful. But his inclination is that all these people who are trying to jump in late are basically just going to end up throwing their money into the fire, and it's going to be the original actors like Valve, like Meta, the companies that have been doing this now for a decade. Those are going to be the ones that kind of determine what the metaverse is and where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny reading this. He's exactly right. He's about them being quick rich schemes, right? He talks about MMOs and avatars, right? And we got customizations, and then he brings up Final Fantasy 14, and like you can some of these games, even Elden Ring, You can customize so much in these games. They know they have this technology figured out. Like, but that's what he's saying. He's like, what are they're bringing up a bunch of stuff that really doesn't matter. And it kind of gives me hope that, you know, because I know Gabe is looking at a completely different, this whole thing from a different perspective. And just what he's talking about here shows me that he's not doing what they're saying, what they've been doing, right? Whatever they're working on is going to blow us away, I believe. So.
Yeah. What's up, Hack? Hack the Game Cat joining us. Welcome, friend. Well, let's see exactly what he said here. So instead of just kind of paraphrasing here, let's see exactly what he had to say. This story is from Upload VR, Jamie Feltham, and it was a few days ago here. So it says Valve's Gabe Newell says most people talking about the metaverse right now have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Newell made the comments to PC Gamer in an interview surrounding the release of the Steam Deck last month. Quote, there's a bunch of get rich quick schemes around the metaverse. And that's absolutely true, by the way, especially with these like crypto people. I don't know how these crypto people all of a sudden are kind of trying to weasel their way into the VR sphere, but that's exactly what I see every time I go on Twitter. There's friggin' hundreds of these dudes.
NFTs too, right?
Yeah. Quote, most of the people who are talking about the metaverse have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. And apparently they've never played an MMO. They're like, oh, you'll have this customizable avatar. And it's like, well, go into Lanacia in Final Fantasy XIV and tell me that this isn't a solved problem from a decade ago, not some fabulous thing that you are inventing. There's been a massive increase in companies claiming some connection to the so-called metaverse since Facebook renamed itself Meta in late 2021, making clear its intent to build a virtual ecosystem, productivity, and socializing inside VR and AR. But despite the buzz, VR technology is still a long way away from persistent online worlds that instantly let you hop between a variety of apps and experiences. So yeah, and that's true, by the way. But I would say that that's kind of going to be the last step, right? Everybody's building up the apps that are going to make the framework of the metaverse. The framework's being built right now. This thing that's kind of bring it all together, the connective tissue, if you will, that's going to be the last step. And it might be one of the more difficult steps to implement, because it's going to take all of these different players committing to the same standard. But we will get there, and it probably won't be very, very long. Probably within 5 years, we'll have something pretty cohesive to experience. And you know, the technology's moving super fast. So, but we're not there yet, and I think that that's kind of the sentiment that that Jamie is expressing here.
What's crazy is, you know, VR's only been around, or at least the headsets, 6 years, right? Aside from DK1s and all that other stuff. So, I mean, look how far we've came in 6 years and how far we're going to go 6 years from now, because everything is exponentially getting faster and faster, and more money and more minds and better minds and more trained minds are all working on this. You know what I mean? So all of it, it just shows that we're close, I think. So
Ion the Icon joining us. Hello, friend, and welcome. Gary says he thinks he's talking about Facebook and Meta. I don't. Maybe to some extent, but I mean, I wouldn't characterize what Zuck's doing as kind of a get rich quick scheme. He's sinking all of their money into building this. Like, I don't think that his end goal is purely monetary. I don't think it's about money. I think it's about a vision that he has for the future of you know, computing and digital life. And I think that he's going to build it, or he's going to die trying. And I don't think it's all about money with him. I think that what Gabe's talking about is exactly what we've been pointing out week after week here. All of these different companies literally sinking hundreds of millions of dollars into the little, like, most obscure bullshit technologies that you can think of that might be useful, but there's no way that they're ever going to return on these kinds of investments that these people are putting into it. And on that note, I'd like to go to the next headline, Roots. Gundam Metaverse is in development by Bandai Namco. So we have, I think we talked recently about Bandai Namco uh, basically creating a metaverse for all of their IPs. But according to this article, the Japanese video game and toy company with massive global appeal recently announced plans to commit a whopping 13 billion yen, which is about 130 million US dollars, toward the development of a new metaverse experience dedicated to its most popular gaming and anime franchises. So yeah, this is a follow-up to that story we talked about a couple weeks ago, Roots. Um, the Gundam Metaverse, as they're calling it, will feature a number of popular IPs such as Pac-Man, Soul Calibur, Dark Souls, and of course, plenty of giant robots from the critically acclaimed Gundam universe. The primary goal, according to B&E, is to help fans of the brand connect with each other through virtual concerts, movies, live events, and other social VR experiences. So, Roots, while a lot of this metaverse stuff really doesn't appeal to us as gamers, stuff like this that is kind of appealing, especially to people who are fans of these different franchises. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is going to end up being profitable for Bandai Namco or not,
Hmm.
but I do think it's going to end up being pretty cool for their fan base.
Well, I think it's in some respect, and maybe I could be off base, but I think it might be good for us or me as a Dark Souls fan, as a Elden Ring, because if they've got their mind focused on the metaverse, that tells me that they know VR is coming. So why would they not be wanting to bring their most favorite IPs into VR as well? Not only as an experience, as a hub, as a connection for movies and all these different things, but maybe we'll start seeing some of these games in VR. And like I said, I think you could put that Elden Ring and any game like it as it is in third person with the camera rotating and not even change anything, and it would be amazing. You know what I mean? I would tell them to, have a disclaimer that you should probably sit down and not stand up, so people don't say you should play it flat. But I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, and what people aren't realizing is as the metaverse actually materializes and becomes what people are expecting it to be, you know, fully integrated streaming games are going to just be part of the equation. So literally what we kind of refer to right now as location-based VR. The best VR experiences in the world right now supposedly are location-based VR. When the metaverse is established and cloud streaming is a part of it, then location-based VR is going to be accessible from home because, the digital space will then kind of become what the physical space is right now. So you're going to have to still go to the Bandai Namco world to play the location-based Dark Souls game. But through using, uh, through accessing, massive servers in the cloud, you're going to be able to go do this amazing Dark Souls location-based thing from the comfort of your own home, if that makes any kind of sense to you.
Yeah, absolutely. They give you incentive to go into their world, right? Their metaverse. It'll be their version of
Right.
console things where it's like proprietary. I think it's cool. I think it's very possible that we're seeing that. And actually, I guess it's probable it's gonna happen at some point, right? So
Yeah, and while you're there, you can buy some nice, digital skins of your favorite characters, and even get some McDonald's delivered to you, and they'll probably get a cut of that as well.
yeah, because you'll be seeing the advertisements everywhere, probably, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's that cyberpunk dystopian future, only it's not going to be in the physical world. It's all going to be up here, right?
yeah, yep, absolutely.
One more quick thing before we move on. Quest V38 is now laying the groundwork for Meta's Horizon Home. I really don't care too much about this early version of Horizon. I'm highly skeptical that Horizon's going to have much that interests me for quite some time. But the one thing that I am kind of interested in is this idea of Horizon Home, which is basically your old Oculus Home, only with multiplayer functionality now. And they've been talking about this for the last little bit, and now we're starting to see it come through in the code. Must not be too far off, Roots, before we're going to be able to hang out in our Oculus Home and party up and
Hmm.
kind of jump in the games together from the comfort of our digital couches.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, they need and I guess they kind of have it like the Oculus audio, but there's issues with it, right? Because this is Tam 2. You're out there somewhere. Like those games, the amazing games like After the Fall and the issues that you have around, grouping up and talking to your teammates should never be an issue. I want to go into my home. I want to meet Mash. I want to meet Wes. And I want to go into the game and already be in like a Discord type of thing where, or Oculus based that works in everything and isn't all jacked. And now I can just talk. I don't have to switch to anything else. I can just ignore the in-game bull. I can just talk to them. I don't want proximity chat. I don't want weird cutting in and out. I just want it to work, And right now, in some games it's phenomenal. I guess it's really on the developers. But and After the Fall, it's bizarre, man. I should always be grouped out. And you said it, when you leave the game, you should always be in the party. You shouldn't be separated. I should be able to talk to people unless they're when they're not in my lobby. I can't imagine how hard that can be to fix, but it's so annoying it really affects the multiplayer experience, I think, and it needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I have no idea, how their lobbies are technically constructed. But you're absolutely right. That they have to find a way to keep parties together after they exit a level when they go back to the lobby, because you have to go back to the lobby. I mean, you're grinding away, getting all of these attachments. You can't use any of these guns, any of these attachments without going back to the lobby. So when you go back there, your entire party should stay together in the lobby. That would solve all the partying issues with regards to voice chat,
Yeah.
because people who are in the same lobby can talk to one another. So that's all they got to do is keep people partied up, and all the problems will be solved just like that. Now, how hard that is, it must not be all that easy, or they would have already done it. But they're going to have to figure that one out. You're right.
Yeah. I just think it's one big thing that's kind of holding the game back from being seamless and amazing, even though it is amazing. It's just not as seamless as I would like it to be.
Well, Raza says, so now they're forcing me into Horizon. Well, I mean, I guess that's a way of looking at it. But, I mean, it's all going to be Horizon. It is not so much that they're forcing you in to Horizon as, everything being rebranded as Horizon is kind of what's happening. Now, if you want to stay away from that like it's a bad word, it's all Facebook. It's all Meta, man. It's all the same thing. Any kind of comfort you get from staying on this side of the horizon line, it's really it's not a real thing anyway. You're already in Horizon when you put that Quest 2 on your face, and really the only way to avoid it is to go buy an index or something. There's no way to escape what Meta is, what Facebook is, as long as you're using their products. And I mean, I guess you could opt out of it when they implement Horizon Home. You won't have to use it, but that's just going to be a stopgap at first. Horizon's going to continue to grow and envelop more of the products and services that you're using on a day in day out basis anyway. So I would just get used to the fact, if I were you, that if you're going to be using a Meta product, that you're going to be in their world, and their world is going to be called Horizon, at least for now.
It's just like you've said before, like people look at it kind of weird because of who it's attached to. But if I want to go play, just for instance, Fall Guys, amazing game. I bought it on Steam. Guess what account I have to have? I have to have an Epic account. I have to. Like, it will not launch without me having an Epic account. So if I hated Epic and I'm like, then I can't play my game. You know what I mean? So, but we make concessions and we join whatever we need to do. And as long as they're not doing weird stuff with my like account, where it's like, okay, where initially you get banned and all of a sudden your account's gone, or all those worries, legitimate. You know what I mean? Me logging into their world, it is what it is, So.
Guess what, Roots? Guess what? Epic is, I'm not going to say they're just as much into the metaverse concept as like Meta is, but they're one of the leaders, quietly building their own kind of digital world up around their products. And I think within the next couple of years, the Unreal Metaverse is very much going to be a thing. And I hope it's the Unreal Metaverse. If it's not the Unreal Metaverse, Roots, it's going to be the Fortnite Metaverse. And,
It'll be part of it.
That.
Well, what's cool about it, and people that love Steam, like I'm looking at you, Drillo, that hate Epic, right? For whatever reason. Like, Epic was smart. Like, they're one, I mean, they've got other things, but their one big thing was Fortnite, right? So when it was raking in the money, they invested in a platform, and they gave away tons of games and still do every week. And they've built this platform, and they've got all sorts of other things going on. And like you said, behind the scenes, they're pumping money into the metaverse, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good for us in the long run.
Yeah.
So,
and they're totally in bed with Sony too. By the way, they're like this, son. Sony's an investor in Epic, a pretty big chunk of Epic. So yeah, good times ahead. We have no idea what they're working on. I mean, we have a minuscule idea, but the deets are very much top secret. But in the coming years, we're going to find out, and I'm quite sure it's going to be amazing.
yep, I agree.
Let's see here. I had someone. Oh yeah, Travelman 3775 said Russia made Meta an enemy of the state. Russia's doing all kinds of weird shit, man. They also
separated their internet from the world. They're now separated. That's weird.
They struck down the laws protecting international intellectual property. So now it's legal in Russia to kind of rip off the rest of the world's ideas.
Oh,
the way China was doing
I was just about
5
to
years
say,
ago. Yeah,
they're lockstep with China now. Crazy.
Yeah, they're the new China. That's the next global marketplace of high quality, second rate generic goods are going to be pouring in over the border from Russia. So good on them.
Crazy.
Kind of like what Meta does, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like it's a metaphor. Oh. Anyway, we got games to talk about, Roots. So why don't we start the transition over there? But while we're on our way to the gaming section of the headlines, why don't we kick off and take a look at some deals that are going on right now? Basically, because I want to remind people to get their free stuff. But first, let's talk about Humble Bundle. Humble has a sim bundle for racing enthusiasts. And this one just dropped a few days ago, or at least I just noticed it a few days ago. Assetto Corsa Ultimate Edition, R Factor 2, Automobilista 2, and Assetto Corsa Competizione. 4 games with VR support, along with 3 other flat racing titles for the low price of $13 for 10 items, $13. And not to mention 2 of those items are 20% off coupons for Thrustmaster wheel and pedal sets. So that's an incredible deal, especially if you're someone who was already going to be buying a wheel and pedals. 20% off is a sizable chunk of money, especially on that T248 Thrustmaster. I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of change. Certainly more than the $13 that you're dropping on this bundle. And again, Roots, as always, a good portion of this going to charity. So,
Crazy.
yeah, absolutely crazy. And I mean, even if you're just doing it for the games, I mean, those Assetto Corsa games are worth that $13. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. And who doesn't want a Thrustmaster, right?
You know who else loves a Thrustmaster?
My mom.
Totally different Thrustmaster, but she does absolutely love them.
Indeed, she does. Anyway, that's Humble Bundle. By the way, guys, just a quick note for those of you who may not know. You know, we've talked a few times in the past about how Steam takes 30% when you buy a key from their store, or Oculus takes 30% when you buy a game from their store. The percentage is lower when you buy a game from Humble Bundle. It's like 20 some percent. But if you get like the Humble widget, which is some kind of app you can also order games through, it's like a super low percentage they take. It's like in the teens.
Oh, wow.
Like 15 or 16%. So if you really want to help developers out, before you buy your PC keys from Steam, check out Humble and see if they have it for sale on there. And if they do, buy it through that widget, and it really will maximize the profits, not only for the developer, but for the charities that Humble supports.
How crazy. That's good. Thomas McNostril says that's a good bundle. Automobilista and AC2 are the stars of that for VR. And Daniel Cass says that there's a new Xbox hardware leak coming. Could it be VR? I didn't hear about that.
You know, I had this idea because Xbox just announced that they're doing a show around the E3 period, like they're doing a legit big deal show. And it just occurred to me, well, what if? No, I'm not saying I think this is what's happening, but what if they were going to finally throw their hat in the VR ring? That would be the time to do it, right? Compete with PSVR 2 directly.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you
Who knows?
what.
Maybe.
This is the thing. Their consoles aren't selling very well. I mean, they're selling, but they're not, you know, when they go on sale, like with Derail was saying, the sale's up all day, you know, or several hours. You could get them. PS5s, I mean, they're gone within minutes, right? Still. So this could be a good boost, right? If all of a sudden they said, hey, here's the proprietary connector where you can connect your headset straight to it. And now we're allowing you to hook up your HT reverb. You know, maybe it's only for their headsets, right? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I would imagine they make them for everyone. A lot of speculation, but I guess sadly, Bradley says his source says it's not VR for Xbox. But man, there's so much rumors right out there. It's crazy. It's cool. I like it.
Well, here's the thing about Xbox Series X. Basically, it's not like the PS5 in the sense that it has all of this custom architecture and unique feature set to kind of push its library of exclusives. Xbox is doing a very different thing than Sony is. And basically what an Xbox Series X really is a high-spec PC. It's a PC that is ridiculously low priced for the specs that you get and the performance that you get with it. The problem is there's no reason that you need it, especially if you already have a gaming PC. Now, if you have a gaming PC, you can already play all the games on your PC. If you don't have a PC, well, you have this kind of question. Do you want to buy an Xbox? Well, sure, it's cheaper. It's cheaper than building a full-blown gaming PC, but it don't VR. It won't VR. But if what these people are talking about comes to pass, now all of a sudden you have a legit budget gaming PC for $500 that can run VR like a $1,500 PC. That's something that's going to be a bit more appealing to people, especially as VR continues to grow in popularity. And as we speculated 2 years ago, if they make this thing compatible with Oculus Quest, if it can run Link, if it can run AirLink, oh, now you're off to the races, man. That kind of a partnership with Meta would be so mutually beneficial for both Quest and Xbox. It makes nothing but sense.
Yeah.
But again, this is all just blind speculation. I have no idea what they're doing. If I had to bet, they're going to continue to blow it and shoot themselves in the foot like they have for the past decade and a half.
Yeah. Well, remember that I was just saying, Got VR Leg said Game Pass VR, and Wolvie's got a good point. There's already 6 games on Game Pass that have VR support. Well, VR support isn't the same as having your own thing that is specifically for Game Pass, right? If they were going towards that, to where they could use it. But one thing we do know about Xbox and in the VR space is they said that they are going to focus on the software. They're going to let everybody else do the hardware. They did say that, and that was not that long ago. So I would lean more towards what Bradley's saying, not only because his sources seem to be pretty good, but also because of that. And maybe we'll find out something about VR software. Who knows?
PD says, you know who else has an X on her box?
My mom.
Yeah, it's like a Target, bro.
Absolutely. I don't know, man. Oh, it's an exciting time. I got to think. I mean, what do you think Phil Spencer's thinking as this literally the entire digital space inside and outside of the gaming world? Everybody's jumping in the metaverse right now. And here's Xbox still with this whole nobody's asking for VR, man. Really? You're still going to sit on that? Like, okay, whatever, man.
Maybe they pivot.
Yeah,
maybe they're pivoting. Maybe they're going to focus more on the PC, and they're going to have, like you said, they're going to have that viable Xbox for I guess not for VR, but for everything else. If it's not VR, but they're focusing on a year down the road. We're talking about all these amazing They have picked up so many IPs in the last year that we could be seeing some amazing VR games. Maybe that's what they're focusing on.
If they don't put Hellblade 2 in VR, I'm going to burn the place down. I'm so upset. They have to give me that game. Did you saw it? You saw the trailer that they ran during the Game Awards. That game looks so incredible. I can't wait.
I can't see that they don't. This is the thing. They had it on PC VR, right? Did extremely well. And so even if it doesn't come to the console, why would they not at least do a pat or a thing? They've already done it. The groundwork's already there. They just have to kind of use that same engine, I would imagine, or update it for the new game. So I would be surprised if they don't do it.
It's legit photoreal. Like, that game looks like a movie. It looks like a movie. The gameplay looks like a movie. I can't wait. I can't wait. I don't know that I'm going to be able to wait for the VR copy of that one. Like, I think I'm going to have to play that one flat.
Hey, this is a good and this is how it works for me and sidetracks. A good reason why to play through, like, even if you said, okay, Elden Ring is coming out in a year in VR, you're like, well, I don't want to spoil it. The world is so huge, and everything you branch off and do, like, this is the game. These games are designed for multiple playthroughs from different classes, different, now you do a sorcerer or whatever. Because I guarantee once I get to the end, I'm going to probably want to start over again. Yeah, that tells you how good a game it is.
Or it's like Returnal. It's
Same
endlessly. It's an endless game. Like you play it over and over again by design.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, let's not get on that tangent. Let's continue on. PlayStation Plus games for March: Ark, Survival Evolved, Team Sonic Racing, and Ghost Runner. All free this month as a part of your PlayStation Plus subscription. If you are subscribed, get your games. Get them now. Don't wait. You're going to forget if you don't go ahead and get them. That's why I'm saying this. No other reason than to remind you all. By the way, it's let's see, it's Ghost Runner is PS5. That's the PS5 copy of Ghost Runner. And if you continue scrolling down there, Roots, you'll see that there's a free trial for the brand new Ghost of Tsushima co-op thing. It's got like a co-op campaign. It's got 4 different modes, dude, of co-op gameplay in it. Looks really cool, and it's got a playable trial on there, and it's free for anyone who owns the game already.
That's actually a really cool game. I haven't played that far into it, but I enjoyed it. What I have played of it. So
yeah, highly touted game. People love that game. So
yeah.
Spraga says, I'm going to turn into Milton from Office Space if Hellblade 2 doesn't support VR. That's exactly correct. Anyway, while we're talking about free games, City Skylines, free on Epic Games Store right now for about 3 or 4 more days. So if you haven't claimed your free Epic game this week, get it. It's City Skylines. Everybody loves it, Roots.
Yeah. Well, actually, as a matter of fact, Radio Runt, first thing he said is, "Oh, that's a good game." And if Radio Runt says that, it is a good game. And he's one of the ones that is excited about the VR version coming because he knows. So.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, the free game from Epic next week looks awesome. Like I don't remember what it's called, but the game looks cool. So I'll be sure to remind you guys next week to get it as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, get your free stuff. That's the moral of the story. And with that said, Roots, I do believe it's time that we talk some games.
This is the mayor speaking.
So this past week, we got a fresh new look at Cities VR, the upcoming city builder from our friends over at Fast Travel Games, which is, by the way, basically Cities. I'm having a brain fart. Cities Skylines in VR. So Paradox Interactive, the IP holder, held a big Cities Skylines stream on their Twitch channel last week, a good portion of which was dedicated to Cities VR, the upcoming again VR adaptation from our friends at Fast Travel Games. Eric Odeldahl, the creative director at Fast Travel Games, was present during the stream. He talked for somewhere between 20 to 30 minutes about the game before actually donning the Quest 2 headset and playing it for about 10 or 15 more minutes. This is all viewable right now on the Paradox Interactive Twitch channel. If you are a patron, you can scroll down to the bottom of this week's show notes, and you'll see some gold links at the bottom. This is something new I did this week.
Ooh.
You'll see a section that's called the Cutting Room Floor. In that section, the Cutting Room Floor has links. Some of them go to videos. Some of them go to articles that didn't make the show proper. Anyway, down in the Cutting Room Floor section, you'll find a link to this Twitch stream, and it's already bookmarked to the precise minute when the VR talk starts, and it's about a 30 to 45 minute thing. If you're interested in Cities VR, you probably want to go check it out. It was pretty cool.
Radio Run, dude. What a good idea. Wes just keeps coming up with amazing reasons for you to be a patron, right? Like it's just one after the other. That sounds like something I want to go check out. So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool that that Paradox Interactive spent so much time on Cities VR. They're clearly excited about it. Basically, they said really the only tangible difference is the scope of the game. When you're talking about bringing this complex simulation algorithm into VR, you're obviously dealing with constraints, especially when you're talking about running on standalone hardware. So you have to pick and choose what you want to keep and where you want to make concessions at. Obviously, they have to make a few graphical concessions, but that's not quite enough. They either had to choose to bring the scale down a little bit or to kind of nerf the simulation. And they chose to just scale it down so that they could bring a full-fledged version of City Skylines into VR. And basically, that's a lot of what they talked about, were the differences between the VR version and the flat version, and there weren't many.
How amazing. Wolveraza says he sims getting whole genre sections at once on Quest. Not his bag, but really popular genre. And then so that's exactly it. As we see stuff like this, you know, somebody that's a huge City Skylines fan, and they're, oh my God, I can play it in VR now. Same thing with Among Us. You know, all these games that maybe aren't your bag, but people that love it, they're super popular genres, and each one of them is just a home run being smacked out into the stand, right? And I can see the guy already rounding the bases. He's going to be running home, and he's going to be sliding into home as soon as this game is released, and I think it's going to do really well.
And how about our friends at Fast Travel just making moves, bro? Like a couple of years ago, they were in a completely different building, right? They decide to move to a bigger office in Stockholm. When they move into this place, it's right close to the offices of Paradox Interactive. They become friends. Paradox Interactive owns the franchise for the what was it, their last game, the horror game, the Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife. That whole franchise that has Vampire the Masquerade, and you know what's it called, that universe? You know what I'm talking about. That role-playing game.
Trying to think of what it is.
Anyway, people know what I'm talking about. I just can't think of what it's called. Anyway, they get to bring Wraith the Afterlife in the VR because of this friendship that they have with Paradox, and then after that they continue to work together, and now we get City Skylines in VR. I mean, that move to that side of town really paying off for our friends there, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's like Alex said, going to the trade show, right? Paid off. It's just it's certain moves, they actually work. Trailers look great. Get ready for the Paradox paid DLC Snowstorm for this game, though. Thomas McDostrel says this is the thing. As long as the game is AAA level and amazing, I don't care. Like, put out the game, and if people want more, they'll pay the DLC. And in turn, it'll give the devs incentive to do more, and it feeds each other. It's a double-edged sword. And you don't, as long as the base game is amazing, you know, not everybody has to play the DLC, right? So I agree with it. And depending on what it is, right? You don't have to do it. So
yeah, I think it was called World of Darkness. I think it was called World of Darkness.
Into the Darkness universe.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, a lot of people excited for this. This game has a huge following. It absolutely 100% is going to sell headsets. I guarantee you that.
Yep.
And if you're interested in it, there is loads of new info available on it. Again, if you're not a patron, just go to the Paradox Interactive Twitch, or you can link to it directly from this story here on Upload VR. That's how I found it. So
cool.
You can go there.
Hey everyone, I'm Tamtru from the After Fall community team. Today, we are going to talk to you about After the Fall and showcase some of the exciting content coming up in the Frontrunner season. Horde mode is coming to After the Fall. In this mode, up to 4 Harvest Runners will deploy to a contained area where Snowbreed will come running down from all sides. And you will have to keep at it and survive for as long as you can. You will be able to bring your best weapons to survive the incoming Snowbreed hordes and reap the rewards. Starting off, we'll be offering 2 maps, Junction and highway. We'll also have a brand new harvest map. After the Fall's bread and butter mode will take you to the streets of Hollywood into the Boulevard Harvest site. With so many harvest runners having joined the fray since launch and clearing our harvest sites, the Snowbreed are also evolving further. The Skimmer will be appearing on your harvest runs and drop a huge bounty of harvest if you manage to take it down. The first additional weapon coming to you is the Revolver. This special killer hits really hard, but the trade-off will be your magazine count. But as everything in After the Fall, getting the right gloppy or roppy for it may help with that. Additionally, one more weapon type will expand your arsenal, and on top of that, a totally new radical wrist-mounted power device. Up next, player customization system will allow you to finally pick the right fit for your runner. And similar to the weapon skin system, these can be unlocked through playing the game and clearing challenges. Lastly, you'll get to face your fellow runners in a new Tundra Dome map called Stockpile. And now you can truly rise to the top against everyone in our brand new free-for-all PvP mode. Also part of this PvP update will be harvest rewards for the top players in each match across both Team Deathmatch and free-for-all. Here's a look at our roadmap for the Frontrunner content, and stay tuned on our socials for more details as they come. Thank you so much for your time, thanks for playing After the Fall, and of course until next time, stay frosty.
Horde mode is now available for After the Fall players with a new update rolling out across all platforms. This coming to us again from Upload VR. The update is first of several new content drops as part of the Frontrunner season, with updates set to land across the next 2 months for all players. According to the patch notes, there's no friendly bots in the Horde mode. Custom loadouts are enabled and rewards are granted every 5 waves, increasing in rarity over time. You'll also unlock the blueprint for the new revolver weapon after completing 6 waves in Horde mode, which can then be purchased for 5,000 harvests at the armory. The patch also includes changes to floppies, skins, and items. Some balance changes have been put through as well, changing damage and ammo capacity to select weapons, as well as a handful of general small changes and bug fixes. The developers also noted that they are still investigating ongoing freezes on Quest 2 and working non-stop on a solution. The Frontrunner season will continue later this month with a new harvest run set in Hollywood, along with new enemy types and weapons. A new PvP map is also expected this month, alongside a free-for-all mode. The season wraps up with a new wrist-mounted power device in April. Anyway, we got a chance to play this yesterday, Roots, and always a pleasure to have new content for this game, which we loved so much for a few months there until we just kind of got away from it. It's good to have a reason to get back in there, right?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Masher's stream was amazing. It's funny how fast it went by. I thought, because I was thinking he started at noon, my time, but we started at 10 my time, noon his time. So I got out of there at 1:30 thinking, I was only in there an hour and a half. And then later that day, I thought, oh my God, I was in there 3.5 hours. Holy crap, dude. But it just flew by. It was so much fun. But like you were saying in between while we were watching the trailer, they need to adjust the pacing, but I don't know how they do it, because your idea was have it start getting hard at 20 at 10, but the whole idea is to get the discs out, right? My suggestion, at least Tam 2, for on some level, there should be, I believe if you can do it, as I've already asked so much of you, a difficulty level, right? To where I can do master, I can do nightmare on those, to where it scales up, to where it will progressively go faster, because the first 15 waves are a joke. They're kind of a boring, and I can see how that's going to get really boring after a while. And I, even where I'm at, I haven't played for a month. I think the last time I played Wes was December 29th, before that day. And everything was pretty much worthless for me. I think I got 1 or 2 things that were decent. I shouldn't be getting the blue skins. You know what I mean? If I can do a difficulty, maybe I start getting all purples or all golds or all reds or whatever, to where there's a difference, because the first 15, actually, I guess it was 18 levels. 19 is when it got really hard for us. Now that might be different for other teams, especially if you're going in there with less than 3 people. And then, of course, the biggest thing, and I don't know if this is ever going to happen, we need to have people to be able to drop in if somebody drops out. You know, a friend should be able to swap in, swap out, or whatever, to where you're never there. Where, oh shit, somebody logged out, we're screwed now. You should be able to have somebody drop in for that 4th spot. And so, especially in something like this where you can't have a bot, you're kind of tying your hands to be screwed if somebody drops near the end. All that work is for nothing, right? So.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because it's not like it isn't fun. It's fun. The problem with it is, and I don't even know if it's a problem. It's time consuming, right? Every time that you go into a run, you have to play for 15 or 20 minutes before it really gets challenging. And maybe that's just because we're so awesome, right? Maybe we're just really good. Or maybe it should ramp up in difficulty a little bit more quickly. Or, like you said, have a difficulty rating on the front of it, which allows it to get hard faster. By the way, you know who loves when it gets hard really fast?
My mom!
Yeah, she does.
And in exchange for that extra difficulty, we don't have to get all of these duplicate discs like we got. Like, I think out of all the games that I played yesterday, I got one useful item out of it. I got sights that I needed for my submachine gun, but the rest of it, it's all just harvest to me.
You know, one thing that Z-Storm was saying, shout out to Z-Storm Games. He was there for probably half of Mash's stream at least. He was saying that, I guess in the notes that, oh shit, I forgot what I was going to say about what you were just talking about. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Supposedly, according to him,
percentage wise, yeah.
Yeah, if you get a duplicate, you're less likely to get another one the next time. That was not my experience.
Well,
So I must have a good one coming.
Percentage wise, it stacks. It's like 2% for this, 4% for that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but each time you get one, it kind of adds to it. So eventually it's gonna help you get it quicker. So
cool. GT's in the chat. What's up, GT? And for those of you who didn't catch it, we had the pleasure of playing with GT. Awesome. Our first runs in the horde mode were with GT, and we hit level 20 right off the top, man. Right off the top.
We rocked it. We didn't get to 30 though, man. Mash and them, they got to level 30, and they actually got, I guess, a gold disc, and like that's some dedication, bro.
I can't imagine, man, because that one time we made it to like level 23 or something in the Chinatown level, and that was just insanity. Like they come at you so fast, you can't keep them from getting over the wall. So it's just, being on your toes. How fast can you knock them down when they're right in your face? I can't imagine how crazy it must have gotten for level 30. That's nuts.
Yeah, see, and this is another approach, Tam, too, you could take as far as this goes. And I was kind of mentioning this to you as Wes. Like, when you get to level 5, you unlock the ability to start at level 5. So, like, if everybody in your team has gotten to level 20, you can just bypass the first 4 levels, and you can start right at level 20, right when the thick of it goes, or you can make it limited at 15 or whatever. Because really, at this point, the first 10 levels at least are pointless to me. So,
well, in a way, but there's also the idea of this isn't a flat game. This is a VR game, and part of the challenge of a VR horde mode is endurance, right? If you're starting on level 15, on level 20, your thumb isn't sore. Your arms aren't tired like they would be after you've played through all of these waves. I get it. I
guess it is horde mode. It is wave based. Lasts as long as you can.
We need to remember that this is additional content. It isn't the main gameplay loop, right? This is an additional game mode. I get it. I agree. I wish
options.
I would probably play it more going forward if I didn't have to put so much time into getting to the fun part. But I understand why it is, and it probably isn't practical to change it too much. Again, though, that doesn't mean I can't wish for it, you know?
Yeah, and I guess this is a good point. As far as Wolveraza says, using explosives was really important, right? And so you've got, if you cut out those first 4 rounds of buying those explosives and those syringes, you're not going to have what you need. You know, this is you can tell it. Everybody, I completely changed my mind on the horde mode. Like you can only buy 1 of each, and there's nowhere to run with it. You just buy it and stick it right there. I have no problem doing that. That makes sense, right?
By the way, we got screwed in that first run in the Chinatown, didn't we? We couldn't buy our first run of goods, and that was the run that we made it the furthest. Imagine if we had another round of explosives and medicine, how far we could have gotten.
Yeah, very true.
Anyway, yeah, it's fun. It's good fun. I'm glad to have more content in this game. I really enjoyed getting back into it. We were in there, 2 or 3 hours, and it just flew by like it was nothing. Can't wait for Hollywood Boulevard, right, Roots?
Yeah. I had a lot of fun, and reminding me of why I played 50 to 60 hours of it, because I kind of got burnt out on it for a while there, but now I was enjoying it, and don't mind going back in there again, for sure.
Yeah. New harvest run, new weapons coming, new enemy coming. Most of this coming within the next 2 weeks. It's going to be a fun time for fans of After the Fall. So if you haven't picked this one up yet, it might be time to get it. And listen, you people who are new to VR saying that, you know, I'm not a multiplayer person. I'm not into this type of game. It's co-op. It's not, you're not fighting your friends in it, and it's different. It's VR. You're literally in the space with your friends. I wasn't a multiplayer person either before VR. You need to try it. It's a different experience, I assure you. This game's just fun. It's easy to pick up, and it's a lot of fun with friends. So if you don't have it already, give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Atlas Mystery. Inspired by classic exploratory puzzle games like Myst, the Atlas Mystery is an escape room style experience set in the 1940s era movie palace that played host to a shocking Hollywood tragedy. You assume the role of a newly hired theater manager tasked with preparing the dilapidated theater for a grand reopening. As you solve puzzles, unlock new environments, and encounter supernatural occurrences, you start to uncover the truth behind the theater's dark history. Each room of the theater serves as its own miniature escape room, and all of the puzzles are inspired by old film and projection technology that tie into the era. Assembling old projectors, splicing together film, manipulating old curtain pulley systems, etc. We've put a lot of care and detail into the environments to truly immerse players in the luxurious architecture of the time. As huge fans of classic cinema and avid puzzle enthusiasts, it's been a blast creating our own take on an extravagant movie palace chock full of fake movie posters, era-specific packaging, and old exhibition technology. Roots, first of all, Isn't it funny how every puzzle game that comes out cites Myst as its main um, inspiration, and 9 times out of 10 the games that come out are nothing like Myst at all.
Right. It's weird. It can be a conundrum. There was that one game that released that was kind of like Myst, but it was like not as good. I mean, if it's similar but not as good, they can compare it to Myst and say, yeah, this isn't like Myst. And it's like, well, it's its own game, but you've compared it to Myst. So it's got to be some similar but not. But this thing actually, at first I thought, okay, I've done so many things like this, but this seems very unique, right? It just seems like they said, they did take care making sure that these puzzles are unique, and that it's more, I guess, more of a realism thing, right? Like going back in history or in the past.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like about this game so far, having not played it. It's just that vibe, man. 1940s movie theater. Like, I just want to be in this place, regardless of what the puzzles and the game's doing. I want to visit this theater and look around. You telling me there's supernatural stuff going on here? Awesome. Sign me up. I get to play with old technology. Great. This is what I love. Time traveling in VR, Roots. This is what we like to do. Actually, a lot of what I'm seeing here reminds me of certain parts of Wanderer that I enjoyed. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This game's coming on the 31st to Steam VR. Now, this trailer says it's also coming to Oculus Quest. I can't find any other kind of information about the Quest release. It was previously scheduled to launch this month. So, if we can assume that it's coming on the 31st, but I wouldn't say that's confirmed at this point. We know it's coming to Steam later this month, and I am interested in it. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool as well. And I'm surprised it seems more like I mean, aside from the actual locomotion and stuff, but more of a game like the Room VR, right? Because like it says in here that it's an escape, like a mini escape. I guess it says each room of the theater serves its own miniature escape room, right? So it's an escape room game type, and those games, if they're done well, are amazing. The Room VR is one of the best games. A MASH, you probably should pick up a couple copies to give away to people at your on your show, because Room VR is so good.
Right. These are the guys, by the way. This is the developer is a company called Top Right Corner. They made the Belko VR game. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's another escape room game. But this one's pretty cool. It's based on a movie, actually, called The Belko Experiment, which is kind of this where people go to work in this. It's kind of a half high rise, a short skyscraper type thing that gets locked down, and then people are kind of forced to kill one another. And, it's survival of the fittest. Anyway, they built an escape room around that movie, which I haven't played, but it looks pretty cool. Came out a few years ago. I think it might have even been free at the time. I don't know. But anyway, this isn't their first rodeo, so to speak, when it comes to VR escape rooms. These guys do have some experience under their belt. So, that typically bodes well for these smaller studios.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm confused though. I'm looking for Scion, because you said Myst. Like Spry Guy says, Wes said Myst. It's time for Scion to appear in chat. Scion, where are you, bro?
Well, it's like the boy that cried wolf, right? How many times can these guys invoke the name of Myst before Scion quits coming to check it out?
It's like, I'm not even gonna go look anymore. I think it looks good.
Hack says, I thought the Belko Experiment was pretty good. I didn't finish it. I did watch it because I was a fan of what was his face? The guy that starred in that. He was from The Walking Dead. Played Daryl's brother.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
his name? You know what I'm talking
Merle.
about. Played Merle.
Yeah, dude. He's actually a good actor. He's been in some other movies. Dee says she would like to see a multiplayer puzzle, or like an actual escape room type thing where people can work together. And I was thinking the same thing. Or in like this, what Wes was saying, imagine a VR game where you're dropped into this mansion and there's like 7 people, and only one of you gets to get out. And so your thing is to find your way out and take everybody else out at the same time, or because it's kind of like Among Us. But it's more of like a Hunger Games, right? So where you're, I mean, think about the possibilities of how crazy it could be in VR. That'd be crazy and fun.
All this is coming. People forget that. In video game years, VR has just kind of been a blip on the radar with regards to history. We're still just now starting to crack into all of these different genres. I guarantee you, we're going to have this game that people are fantasizing about right now. Someone's going to make it,
That'd be crazy.
I agree. It's going to be cool.
It's gonna be cool.
Hack says, and the dude from Scrubs. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's it was a pretty good cast. That's why I started watching it. I didn't finish it, but it was like on Netflix or something. It looked pretty cool. And Hack says it was good, as does Spry Guy. Spry Guy thought it was great. So,
wow, crazy.
The Belko experiment, Roots. The Belko.
I'd have to check it out.
Yeah. Anyway, the Atlas Mystery set to drop in this jam-packed month on the very last day of this jam-packed month. Keep your eye out for it. Put it on your wish list, but wait until the wish list segment to do that.
Okay, fine. Welcome to the family, son.
Modder Prey Dog's incredible work bringing the Resident Evil series to VR continues. This time, bringing motion controls for Resident Evil 7. The developer recently showed off their latest work on the Resident Evil 7 VR mod, which includes full support for motion controllers. And what you were just checking out was some in-progress gameplay, which is about a 2-minute clip from a 20-minute long video that you can watch on the Prey Dog YouTube channel. I don't know what it could be called, Prey Dog. Give me just a moment. I'll tell you exactly what the channel is named so you can check it out for yourself. Yeah, it's called Prey Dog is the name of the channel. And it's a almost 20-minute long video, which isn't solid uninterrupted gameplay. So they show the segment that I just showed you there, and there's other various segments from the main house, one of which is the final showdown with Jack. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played it, but you know what I'm talking about, Roots. The thing down there in the cage with Jack.
Yeah.
It shows some of that. Again, remember, with full motion controls, and that's kind of the big headline here, is that my favorite VR game is becoming more of a VR game thanks to the work of this dude. And from the looks of it, Roots, it's about ready. It looks ready to me, doesn't it, you?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like it's done to me. But what's funny is it says that there's still rumors Resident Evil 8 could get VR support too. Or are they talking about for PlayStation VR? I was gonna say he said he was doing the 8 mod. That's what when I watch this, that's what I'm excited about. Yeah, it's there. I guess did they fix the all the weirdness now?
No, but you can play it with the weirdness. Like, it's public. He's already released it, so people can play like the early version if they want to.
Yeah. How awesome. Yeah. I mean, 8 I own 8 on PlayStation VR, and I have not played it. I'm going to play PlayStation VR on PS5, and I have not played much of it. But definitely looking forward to play it in VR.
I'm so excited for this, dude. I mean, I've played this game so much on PlayStation, and love it with the gamepad. Just love it with the gamepad. And having played the Prey Dog Resident Evil 2 mod, I know what kind of work this dude does, because RE2 VR felt like a native VR game to me. And that game, unlike 7, that game wasn't designed to be a VR game. It was a third-person action game that was made into a first-person VR game. Absolutely amazing. And this looks absolutely amazing. The day that he says it's ready, I'll be playing this game, Roots. And
streaming it?
I mean,
you
sure.
should stream it. Yeah.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, this is the
sure.
thing. It's the fact of, I can imagine on your Reverb 2, or I guess the G2, right? It's going to be amazing.
Hussein X in the chat says, exciting news. This is the first I've heard of a Resident Evil 7 PC VR mod, let alone with motion controls. Dude,
we've talked about
what rock have you been? What rock have you been under? So listen, man, listen, Hussein X. This guy has already modded Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 into being a first-person VR game with motion controls successfully. And I don't mean like a janky ass, like halfway working VR mod. I mean picture perfect motion control. Feels like a real VR game. That's Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake. Playable now. What he's working on and what he's been working on since then is not only Resident Evil 7, but Resident Evil 8. We're getting both of those as well. And from the looks of it, Resident Evil 7 must be pretty close to ready, because, I mean, I watched this whole 20-minute thing, man, and it looks seamless.
Yeah, makes me glad I picked it up a while ago on Steam. I think I did.
Yeah, and to be clear, there are still some button press interactions.
Yeah,
there's no way to get around that, but you do get to aim your gun down the sights. You do get to swing your knife and cut. So that everything else is still kind of like press to pick up an item, things like that. But it's awesome.
And if you don't have PlayStation VR, you get to play the game in VR, bro. Right? Like, I mean, that's a plus anyway.
I mean, think about this for a minute. People, up until the day that this mod got announced, PC VR people were still kind of like, you never know, we might get official support for Resident Evil 7 this year. They've held out hope all this time just because denial. They just can't accept that they would never get this because they have the flat game, right? Happy for these people because they finally are getting what they wanted all this time, which again is the best thing that I played in VR. It's the most immersive game I've played in VR because it's the scariest game I've ever played in VR.
Yeah, absolutely. You've seen my streams. I've never been so scared as from Jack, man. I still am petrified from him.
Yeah, during this 20-minute clip on the Prey Dog YouTube channel, they show the scene we just watched. They show the garage scene with the car, and then they show the chainsaw scene with the cage, and more. So those of you who have played the game, go check it out. you're going to be amazed at just how well this thing's working today.
I can't wait.
And yeah, much more to come on this. Alex VR joined us. What's up, Alex? Enjoyed watching you on Eric's show the other night. It was super cool to see you and Skiba on there.
Yeah, I loved it. It's one of my favorite. I literally sat there and watched the entire show, and I grinded my Elden Ring character at the same time and moderated the channel. It was cool.
Gary says the RE2 mod is fantastic. Perhaps slightly janky in places, but still awesome. I'm ready for RE7 with motion controllers. Yeah, I've heard a couple other people say that they've had a little bit of jank with the movement. From what I understand now, there's a mod that corrects that. Like somebody on the Discord was sharing that. So if you're one of these people who didn't like how the body moved, they have a fix for that now.
I played it third person. I really loved it. This was actually amazing. And if it's performance wise, that was a little weird, Gary. What I did is I ran it through virtual desktop wirelessly, and it's got that synchronous space warp. And it, even though it had reprojection, it didn't feel like it, right? Which is amazing.
Yeah, it was just good. It's I really enjoyed it. One of the biggest regrets of my last couple of months here is not finishing 2. I went very deep into it, but didn't finish it. So
you know who also gets pissed when you don't finish?
My mom!
You better finish.
That's right. She hates that shit, man. She thinks it's like an insult.
Slap
An
in the
insult to
face.
her. Yeah. Anyway, Resident Evil 7 VR mod coming soon. I have to imagine. I mean, I can't imagine why we wouldn't see this soon.
Yeah, if they're talking about it in this article, I think it's probably sooner than we think.
Yeah, and it's not like the guy even puts this stuff behind a paywall. He releases it free to the public.
So
I mean,
cool.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's I think it's the best way, man. It's going to pay off for him in the long run, I think. So,
Steve says I need to try the free Cyberpunk VR mod. Yeah, you and me both, friend. That's kind of one of the things at the top of our list before March started literally dumping VR games on our head. So we'll see. We'll get into there soon, I'm sure.
It's I think both Techno Glitch and Radio Run have came into my stream of Elden Ring and said this isn't the 2077 VR mod. So I guess I need to get into it as well.
Absolutely. A fan is remaking a seminal Star Wars game, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, in VR, and it already looks pretty promising. Updates on the project from Guido Mariano are being shared on Twitter, including the trailer that we just saw here that includes the lightsaber melting effect that's seen when you hold the blade up against the surface. The original Jedi Outcast used this to great effect, giving you a sense of just how dangerous the weapon is. There's also some very early gray box demos, complete with stormtroopers and their rifles. Mariano also has a Patreon subscription set up for anyone who wants to follow the project. Jedi Knight 2 is best known for being one of the first Star Wars games to deliver convincing, visceral Star Wars combat, casting players as a mercenary Jedi named Kyle Katarn, and set after the events of the original movies. It was much a first-person shooter as anything else, though, with players also able to wield pistols and rifles as they took the fight to the enemy remnants of the Empire. Funnily enough, there's also a VR remake of Dark Forces in the works, which was the first time players met the character. Jedi Knight 2 is technically a second sequel to that game, with the first Jedi Knight, which is also great, being labeled as Dark Forces 2. So, classic Star Wars game here being brought into VR by essentially a fan. And this is an increasing narrative that we're seeing time and time again in VR. Basically, a dude who's a fan picks up a game and decides to make a VR game out of it. And the results are amazing. How many times have we been sitting here just drooling over these games that a dude made? Like, this is pretty incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like Gary says, VR modders and the remakers are saving PC VR so good. It goes back to that article we had. 50% of Quest users are using, our Steam users are using Quests, right? Quest 2s. And a lot of the people coming in with Quest 2s that aren't already in VR with some other headset that maybe want the wireless version, they want to play these mods, right? They want to play Risk of Rain 2. They want to play RE2. They want to play RE7, RE8. They hear about all these mods. It's not necessarily the Boneworks, the Asgard's Wrath, all those games drawing them in. Now, those are as well. But I would submit it's these IPs of these AAA games that they've played their whole life, or they played when they were a kid, and they want to get into this game. They want, that's our dream, right? We played whatever IP it is growing up, Metal Gear or whatever. We want to be in that world. And now you're telling me I can be in with Jack and he's chasing me and I have full hand presence. I don't have a PlayStation VR. Whatever the situation is, I just think Gary's nailed it there. It's huge. And, so many good developers out there that this guy maybe he's a fan of the thing, and I guess he's a developer in his own right? So it's cool.
Right. Yeah, somebody who obviously has skills. Michelle B wonders, how does licensing work for them? Well, here's the beautiful thing about it. People often wonder why these guys don't start like a legit company and do their mods and monetize. Well, that's what you're saying there, Michelle, is exactly why. Licensing. If this were an official thing, they would have to secure licensing and pay for it. Being a modder who is releasing their work essentially for free, even if you're taking donations, that's not like selling your work. They're releasing these mods for free, which means, sure, the IP holder could step up and squash it and say, no, you can't put that out. But these modders can't really get in trouble for monetizing off of the licenses that don't belong to them. So it's basically a way around that whole set of laws, and in the end, it's really the consumers who benefit, right? Because Galaxy's Edge was awesome, right? Vader Immortal was awesome, but people want that full-length Star Wars adventure, and we have yet to get that. Apparently, as is the case with so many of these franchises, it looks like the modders are going to get there first.
Now, here's another way that at least the good ones, the smart ones, because there's a difference between remaking a remastered version of the game like this guy's going to do, or making a fan experience or a recreation or whatever, right? Which would be cool in and of itself. But these people, Prey Dog, they use the files, the game. You're using the RE7, the RE8. The game still has to be bought, right? So from the developer standpoint, this is going to drive sales for a game that's been dead for who knows how long. All of a sudden, their game's going to start selling again, right? Because there's a new mod out, and I can play this in VR, but you need those files. That's how I think it'll work. And that's how he would be able to recreate the entire game in VR and have it be, just taking it and putting it in VR and remastering it. I think it's super cool, and it's a win-win for everybody, right? The developers still get their cut. They still get their game sold. And at this point, it's, how old is this thing? It's not selling off, it will now, if that's the case.
Yeah, no, this is something from, I don't remember exactly when it came out, but it was like my early 20s when this came out. It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
It's an old game.
But how cool, man.
Alvo VR joining us in the chat says, "Where's Mash Daddy at?" Eric is on with us on Wednesdays. We do the Sunday show. The one we're doing right now is kind of a news oriented show that my friend Roots and I do here. Eric joins us on Wednesdays for like game reviews and things of that sort. And they're wondering when we're going to be talking about Alvo. Not yet. Actually, Alvo is going to be part of our list of what's out this week, and we'll be talking about it here shortly as we get into that segment. But thank you for joining us. I assume that's Steve. Thank you, Steve, for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, this Jedi Knight 2 fan remake looks amazing. Unlike most games, Roots, that get this kind of mod treatment, I've actually played this one before, so I'm looking forward to experiencing it from the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you said, I probably played it as well at some point, but a full story, a AAA story that it's just gonna be cool.
Absolutely.
I never told them what I found. Through the impossible window, I heard birds, the rustle of leaves, and if you're reading this, I never returned. Lorna McCabe vanished, no satchel, no body, no trace. But I hear her sometimes. I know you have questions, but understand Lorna McCabe is still alive. Bring her home.
VR puzzler Shadowpoint coming to PSVR this month from the studio behind Jurassic World Aftermath. This is an article by Scott Hayden at Road to VR. CodeSync, the studio behind Esper and Jurassic World Aftermath, is finally bringing Shadowpoint out of the Quest and Rift exclusivity, as the stylish, story-driven puzzle adventure is heading to PSVR this month. Shadowpoint, a first-person single-player game, throws you into a mystical world that unfolds between a mountaintop observatory and an ever-changing fantasy environment. It includes some clever puzzles that require you to think spatially and to use magical objects at your disposal to move forward through a beautiful, surrealistic world. Now, CodeSync says it's leaving Meta exclusivity with its PSVR launch, scheduled for March 22nd. Roots, we were talking about CodeSync not that long ago, and it was in the context that we had begun to hear rumors that they were working on a PSVR 2 exclusive launch title. Now, it's funny how these things always seem to tie in together, because here we are less than 2 weeks later talking about a game that has been 2 years and exclusive to Meta, now coming and making its way into PlayStation VR as a support title for what is surely going to be PSVR's last year. Now, with all that said, sure, this is a 2-year-old or even older at this point. This is a launch title from the original Oculus Quest, the black one. But with that said, I think that this is a tremendous pickup for the PlayStation VR catalog. This is a high-quality title and a great game. I think PSVR players are in for a treat this month.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was just telling you while the trailer was on, I need to get back into this game. I forgot. I played a little bit of it. I mean, the best thing about it for me, I loved Star Trek, right? Next Generation, Patrick Stewart. He's the main narrator, or I guess the voice in there. And it's a lot of light puzzles, kind of like some of the RE7 puzzles that you do for in that game, right? So
yeah, and it's I mean, as far as the gameplay goes, it is a pretty hard, strict puzzler. It's not one of these games that's kind of a puzzle game. This is a hardcore puzzle game at its core. But it's a lot more palatable, even to people who really aren't puzzle game fans per se, because of the quality of the narrative and the storytelling in it, because of the production quality. It's a beautiful world, and it kind of has this surrealistic quality to it, like it's almost dreamlike at times. A very good title again, and I mean, considering the stage that the PSVR platform is in right now, to be getting a game like this at this late hour is actually pretty big W, I think, for the Sony catalog.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a big one. And like you said, there's a lot of titles like this that are coming over. And I guess the timing's perfect for it, right? This is, like you said, the last hurrah for the PSVR 1. And makes you wonder what else
remember.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, remember, last month, the only thing that hit PSVR last month was Sam and Max. This time it's virtual. So, like, well, what was that you said about eating dirt for a month and then getting some saltine crackers? Like,
this
it's going to be the best cracker ever, bro.
This is an amazing cracker, and you're going to love it, and you're going to enjoy it. And yeah, and it's good. I mean, it's good for sales for the developers, right? Because there's not much out there, and this is an amazing game, so it's going to come out and it's going to do well, and it's going to be cool, kind of like ALVO VR. I was just telling Steve, said that he did say Steve, and he said thanks for the coverage, and we're really excited to play the game with our community next week. We have a lot of contractors games that go on, a lot of Pop 1 games. I'm predicting the ALVO games are going to take over all of those, and I can't wait.
Yeah, from what Masher's been telling us, I think this might be a hit in our community at least.
Yeah, I need to get in there and check it out.
Anyway, yeah, with Shadow Point, I had a point that oh yeah, I think interestingly too, as I was alluding to at the top of the segment, it lends credence to that rumor, doesn't it? That there is this now newfound collaboration between Coat Sync and Sony in going into the next gen. Kind of something similar to what we've been seeing with Camouflage, which developed Iron Man VR. We're starting to hear rumors about, them opening up a new studio. Well, I mean, that's not a rumor, that's a fact. But rumors about, more collaboration between them and Sony, and now Republic from out of nowhere drops on the PSVR store. PSVR having a pretty good month in March, by the way, because of all of this, all these ports finally making their way over. Good times to be a PSVR gamer.
Yeah, they're probably thinking it's about time, right?
Yeah, and you know what, Roots? That's not all that's coming to PSVR this month.
I don't have a trailer on there for some reason.
Well, I probably didn't. Yeah, I didn't have one scheduled. I was waiting for a trailer I didn't have on the schedule. My bad.
Whew,
my bad.
Usually it's me missing a scene or something.
That's me getting burnt out from this long show, man. My brain's starting to come apart at the edges here a little bit. Ragnarock, rhythm-based Viking game Ragnarock, coming to PSVR. After launching on the Quest Store last year, Ragnarock is looking to conquer more platforms. A PSVR port is on the way. Wanna Dev Studio announced the news in a tweet last week, confirming that the rhythm-based drumming game will be brought over to the PSVR ecosystem after launching for Quest and PC VR platforms last year. There's no confirmed date or window for the PSVR port just yet. The studio only said that last year they worked on the Quest version of the game, and that this year they're facing a new challenge to bring Ragnarok to PSVR. So hopefully sometime this year it is still on the cards. Well, I mean, it better be, right? Because, PSVR is really going to be a thing next year? Probably not. The studio also noted that it will, quote, do its best to make it cross-platform for you. So there you go. Of course they're going to do that. Roots, I mean, a lot's been said about the PSVR's Move controllers and their limitations. But I can't think of a better game for PlayStation VR than Ragnarok, a drumming game. I think that's a going to be a good last hurrah for the Move controllers. What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Matt, Spry Guy just said he just played Ragnarok just before the show. He says he really likes that game. I need to get in there, Wes.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's not just Spry Guy. A lot of people say that it's a very good game. People love the soundtrack. People love the action. You know, the multiplayer action in it. And it's supposedly good on all platforms. Good on Quest, good on PC, and I'm assuming when it comes to PlayStation VR, it's going to be very good on there as well. But I just wanted to kind of point it out as after a month like last month for PSVR, some people might question: Is it over? Is it over? We really, 3 weeks ago, we had really nothing to look forward to on PSVR other than Moss, which is going to be an exclusive, by the way, for a little while. But Moss Book 2. But besides that, we really didn't have anything on the horizon. But now we've had Republic, we've got Shadowpoint. Now we know Ragnarok's coming. Makes you wonder what else is coming this year, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does, actually. There's tons of stuff coming.
Yeah. Potentially.
I mean, yeah. Well, the thing is we still have like games that Zach Brown, what's that? That could drop all of a sudden, right? What was that? The Prodigy.
I don't think that'll be that's not going to be a PlayStation game.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, I get the sentiment.
Yeah, no, in general, but yeah.
Yep. Anyway, Zero Caliber, we know that's supposedly
true.
coming to PlayStation VR. So there's still going to be stuff. So the point is even if it is going to be next year before we get PSVR 2, there's still going to be games. So if you're a PSVR gamer, don't fret too much. You're still going to have stuff to play. You might just get a lull every now and then, here and there. But good stuff still releasing on PSVR catalog. Some 6 years into the platform's lifespan.
Crazy.
And that's going to wrap up headlines. We made it. We did it, Roots. We made it to the end of headlines. So the show's almost over, right?
I was so optimistic with the time earlier. I'm realizing you were a little bit closer to what it's going to be because we're already 2.5 hours in, bro.
Yeah. Well, we have now reached the reminders. And the first reminders, as it is every week, is what's out this week. Just so happens there's a lot out this week, Roots. There's a lot out this week. And for reference, just so you guys know, everything on the release list this week, everything comes out on March 17th. It's all out on the same single day, which is nuts. But anyway, lots of stuff coming out this week, right?
Yeah.
The development of Cave Digger 2 is progressing full steam, and it's time to bring you a new content update. And new platforms. Hi, I'm Ari-Matti, and I'm here to tell you about our new content update coming up on Steam Early Access. We're calling it Escape from the Valley. With this update, we're also releasing the game on SideQuest and AppLab. Escape from the Valley is a major content update for the game, and I hope you're all excited to see all the new stuff we're bringing out this time. With this new update, a new biome opens up to be explored and looted. Once you repair the elevator, you can access the caves, where majestic constructions of a mysterious civilization are waiting for you. Take your time to explore, because this time the caves are massive. As you may remember, we've been developing a climbing mechanic, and now you'll be able to try it out properly. The levels in the new biome are designed vertically, and moving through them will require you to hang on the walls like a certain friendly neighborhood superhero. A new biome, of course, means new enemies, and what would eldritch underground ruins be without skulking lizard people hiding in the shadows? There are two types, the large primal chameleons and their sneaky little cousins, the thieving chameleons. The primal chameleons are of course mighty foes in melee, but they also have cunning ranged attacks and can steal your tools with their tongue. The thieving chameleon is a sneaky little guy. The enemy remains cloaked and hidden, grabbing your hard-mined loot, until it gets scared and tries to run away. But fear not, to overcome all of these obstacles, we provide you with some exciting new tool upgrades. The latest hammer might be the ultimate tool a miner needs. This upgrade makes the game more mobile and dynamic. You can use it to fly around or apply it as an impact missile. The sky is the limit with the new Acme Kiloton. We've also upped the ante by adding exploding bullets to the gun, and we upgraded the dynamite with a sticky bomb feature. The caves are also now full of exploding barrels, so be careful. And lastly, as a quality of life improvement, we've enhanced the telekinetic grab features of the workers' gloves to make looting so much easier. In terms of story, we're finally bringing back one of the greatest features of the first Cave Digger title, the endings. While exploring the caves, you'll find clues to help you unlock them, so stay alert and you'll be able to unlock a new chapter in the story of Cave Digger 2. More endings will be implemented as we get closer to the full release. And in the same vein, a couple of new issues of the comic are also included in this update. But that's not all for nostalgia. Our well-loved chest companion, Chompy, has not abandoned the frontier, and she's looking better than ever. We have further plans for her, but for now she will be providing the player with rewards for any tasks completed. So the next time you visit the frontier, why not pick up an errand or two and greet an old friend? She will certainly reward you well. And those are the highlights for the Escape from the Valley update. We hope you enjoy the new content as much as we do, whether you come from Steam or SideQuest or AppLab. And as always, we enjoy reading your feedback as we work towards full release.
So, Cave Digger 2, Dig Harder, from VR Kiwi, hitting Oculus App Lab this week after launching on Steam VR quite some time ago. But if you have this game on Steam VR, don't you fret. It's getting a substantial update this week as well. Roots, when Cave Digger 1 came out, I could not at that time think of a game that I could care any less about. It was extremely simple gameplay. Literally, it was. I think calling it a tech demo would probably be giving it too much credit. However, there were people who enjoyed it. It just wasn't my type of game. I needed a little bit more meat on the bone. And then comes Cave Digger 2, which for someone like me is a complete and polar opposite of what Cave Digger 1 was. This game has multiplayer. This game has enemies. It has 3 expansive biomes for you to explore. It's got crafting. I mean, this game, Roots, has legitimate depth to it now. And it's Cave Digger 2. Like, they should have just called this something else altogether. It's so different from the original.
Yeah. Now, the whole thing of the Cave Digger was you go down in this hole, and you get gems, and you come out and in an elevator, right? That's it. You're not walking around.
It's like a mobile game.
Yeah, it was pretty much a mobile game. And this thing, if I was watching this, like if you just showed me this and didn't tell me what it was, I wouldn't say, oh yeah, this is Cave Digger 2. Because it doesn't look like Cave Digger. You know what I mean? It looks way better. It looks really good, actually. And looks like something that would be really cool to go into is 4-player co-op, right? Now, this is the biggest thing, my question, and we keep asking this question. Zuckerberg, we want to know. We demand you tell us. Fuck, bro. Like, why is this on App Lab, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get it, dude. Like, why is this not in the main store? Why? Because it's in a weird spot where maybe people find it, maybe they don't. And it looks really cool.
Maybe they have another one of their developers. Maybe Sanzaru's working on Hole Digger VR.
Yeah, that's right. Like, we can't let this thing succeed. Something's happening. Something more. Because it just doesn't make sense. Just fix your App Lab. Make it to where if the App Lab, this is the thing. If you could search it normal like anything else, the games came up like everything else. And even if it said App Lab and it flashed yellow, warning, but it still came up in the thing, you'd be better off. It would make sense, but it's just weird.
Yeah, And it's good that you mentioned that, because to be quite honest, I don't have any problem with the App Lab system.
No.
Like I think that it could work. The only thing that's broken about it is the search, the, the search method. Like they need to have a legitimate storefront for it,
Mhm.
like a page, an App Lab page you can go to see the App Lab games. And when you search for the App Lab games on the Oculus store, they need to populate the way the regular games do. Like a lot of people, when they search for a game on the Oculus store, they don't ever click the search button. You just start typing in the bar and it pops up. But the App Lab games won't do that. Like you could type to the top in the Oculus search bar, and it will not pop up. It'll tell you there's no results, or it'll give you some other game that's not related. But if you click search, then scroll to the bottom of the results, you'll see in plain text, no thumbnail, nothing, just in plain text, that there's one result from App Lab. Then if you click that, you'll find To the Top or Cave Digger 2 or whatever it is. It's like they intentionally don't want people to find it, which is odd. If you don't want people to find it, then why do you even have a damn App Lab? It's counterproductive and counterintuitive, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that would be it. That'd be the way to do it. Is if I type that in and it comes up, even if you just lead me to the App Lab page, or have an App Lab link that takes me to a separate page that's connected to my account, and then I can search through it, and then it comes up. Even that would be better than the system, because you're right. Because people, even myself, I might hit to the and hit enter, expecting it to come up, and it ain't gonna come up that way either. So it's just bad.
And to be clear, there are good third-party resources that you can use to track the App Lab title. SideQuest is great. There's another website that tracks it, that stays fairly updated. But Oculus should be doing this. You should be able to access this stuff easily inside your headset. You shouldn't have to go on the web or on your phone or whatever. Like you should be able to do this inside the headset through Oculus instead of through a third party.
Right.
I mean, it is Oculus App Lab after all.
And this is 2022, where people are afraid about and thinking water's from the toilet. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that don't know anything about the PC, anything about doing any of that. So they're just going to go into the store that's in there. This is a mobile thing. This is what's available. And they're going to assume if they don't see it, it doesn't exist. Like you said, the problem is you're conditioned to the way the search bar works normally, and you're going to go in thinking it's going to work the same way for it, unless you're going to not find it. So, and that was a longer, as we just said in between scenes. We don't need to talk that long on these individual things. We just went into.
Well, you got me going on App Lab, bro. We just had this whole big thing about App Lab, and if we're going to be back here in 3 days, and if somebody says something about App Lab, we're going to go right down this same damn rabbit hole again, because it's ridiculous.
They need to fix it.
Anyway, Cave Digger 2 looks cool. Looks kind of like Beanstalker, except growing the other way instead of that way. Looks cool, and I don't know why it's on App Lab, but you know what, Roots? There are other games coming out this week that are not on App Lab, specifically the Tale of Onogoro from Amata KK, the developer that brought us Last Labyrinth. This coming to the official Quest 2 store on the very same day. March 17th. This Roots does not look like Last Labyrinth.
No, not at all. My biggest thing with this is I'm curious how this game is going to go, like what it's going to be like. I mean, I think it's going to be good, and I can't wait to see like GT or PD or something put out a video, because I don't think we're going to get access, and I don't. Maybe I'll want access really bad after I see these videos. I don't know. So right now I don't care. It's anime. It's a puzzle game. It does look actually very, very unique. It might be it's probably going to be amazing, is my guess. So
could be anything. Could be either way. It looks like it's well produced, and that's really all I can say on it at this point. But we're not going to have to wait long. 4 days.
Yeah.
and this one comes out, and we've talked about this game a lot over the past month, so it's good that it's finally dropping, and we're finally going to get to shed some light on the mystery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bluebell joining the chat just to say good evening, and that they agree. They agree with what we're saying, I guess, about App Lab. What's up?
Yeah, hopefully
Thank you.
somebody will hear. So they need to fix it, but yeah, we're not going to go down that road. We'll go right back down it again.
Yep. Mare Roots. Mare is not on App Lab. Mare is on the official Oculus Quest store. It has been for some time. This game from Vision Trick Media, but it's not going to be exclusive to the Quest store any longer, as it is coming to Steam VR with full PC VR upgrades this week. Already a beautiful game on Quest Roots. I'm looking forward to seeing what this game is going to look like on a high spec PC such as my own.
Super cool, right? This is a cool game, and yeah, I can't wait to see what it looks like in PC VR as well.
Yeah. So again, this one coming Steam VR same day, March 17th.
Wow, you're gonna break your wallets, people.
Yeah, well, you're going to start picking and choosing. That's kind of what we have to do as content creators. We just don't have the time to play all these damn games. We just have to pick the ones that we want to play, or pick the ones you guys want to see us play. And there's certain ones though that are unquestionable, and I think this next one is one of those that's unquestionable. We're going to be checking this one out.
Earth has been destroyed. Humanity needs a new home. We must learn from our mistakes. The planet is constantly changing. We have to find a way to survive. Make use of the full potential of our new planet's resources. Don't let the enemies destroy our last hope.
Finally, Outlier is releasing into Steam VR Early Access. This game coming by way of Joyway, the developer which brought us Stride as well as Against, as well as other titles before that even. Prolific VR developers, Roots, the kings of early access, Joyway. This looks incredible, doesn't it?
Yeah. Not only is Joyway the kings of early access, but they're the kings of many hats, right? They got so many things going on, and each one of them seems to be better and better than the game before. And I loved Against, however you want to say it.
Against, yeah, Against is the Canadian version.
Yes, that's right. But Mash keeps saying, dude, this is going to blow you away. And so I'm really psyched, man. It's kind of like Mash says about me, or I'm the same way with you, or both of you. If one of you is really excited about something, especially if you've tried in the early versions, then I'm really psyched about it. So
yeah, man, this is a roguelike shooter, fast-paced adventure, action adventure game, shooter, archery, spell casting. And again, an ever-changing map that's different every time you die. Progressive upgrades, continuing to build your character, progressing by dying, a hallmark of roguelikes. And again, a cool-looking art style and a beautiful-looking world. So, yeah, we've been excited about this since the day they revealed it. And 4 days from now, the world is going to get their hands again on the early access version of Outlier.
you know what I was thinking might be a dilemma between this and other games and ALVO and stuff. Like the next game, like which one do you get? Do you get the next game that's coming out, or do you get Outlier? I mean, I know what my pick would be. We'll have to see what people in the chat what you think would be, but although maybe that's your jam.
I don't know. This next one's a pretty tough contender. Let me ask you, friends, are you sick of your old cooking games? Would you like a fresh coat of paint to be put on them? Well, if so, I have got the game for you. Startenders, coming from Foggy Box Games, coming to Oculus Quest as well as PlayStation VR. So yeah, Roots, this is totally not a cooking game because these are drinks. They're not food. So yeah, make your drinks, serve your customers, pastel colors. What more could you want?
Yeah, I think if you're into this, it would be really cool. Or if you're into cooking games, this might be really cool, unique, kind of like the take of the bowling game, right? If you're into bowling and all the different bowling balls and stuff, I would rather have it be Tapper style, or can like be, these guys are coming, they're getting pissed, you know what I mean? You got to make your drink and throwing it down, and but yeah, it looks pretty. Looks like kids, kids might like it.
Honestly, and this is in all honesty, I think that I would enjoy Startenders more than any cooking game that I've played. I think the gameplay loop is going to be extremely similar to the most of the cooking games that I've played. What I think is going to make this game a little bit different is personality. I think there's going to be humor in it. You're going to have dialogue with the customers, like you would at a bar. Right. Whereas all of these cooking games all kind of seem generic. I think that this is going to have personality. So honestly, I'm not. I make jokes about it. I don't think that this is going to be a garbage title. Not my thing. We said we have to pick and choose what we play. This ain't going to be it for us, but it might be it for you. And if so, I'm not, all jokes aside, it looks like it's a pretty solid title.
Yeah, I just noticed that it was Yogscast Games, which is, I don't know if you know what the Yogscast or not. My kids watched it when they were growing up, and Lewis and Shin, and it's just about actually pretty good, funny show on YouTube, and they do a lot of things for charity and stuff. I'm assuming it's connected, but yeah, so it's probably pretty funny. Actually, PD knows them and hung out with them on their stream and stuff.
Spry Guy says garbage of the tenders. No, I don't know, man. As long as they don't make me like learn terminology and study charts, then we'll be good, bro. We'll be all right. This game will be okay by me.
Yeah, but I guess my point is that I guess what a horrible day to release next to Outlier and Tale of Onogoro and our next title, which is sure to
Cave Digger 2, yeah, 2. Mare, and then this, which again probably going to be a fairly popular release.
This is Echo 09. We have hostiles moving in. I need one more second.
You know, Roots, the journey of ALVO is truly an extraordinary thing. I've been following this game for the longest time. This game was rumored to be coming to PlayStation VR for years. Then it died. It was officially killed, and then it resurrected from the dead, made it to full release on PlayStation VR to a pretty warm welcome. Has a pretty solid base on PSVR, and now here we are, less than a year later, and it's coming to the hottest platform in VR right now, Oculus Quest 2. We were kind of talking as off air as we were watching through this trailer about what this game kind of is, and as we were kind of describing what it was, I think this is kind of to military shooters on Quest what Startenders is to the cooking games. This is different. Like, this isn't just putting a military skin on a basic shooter and calling it a day. This is a game that's going to play very different than Contractors, than Zero Caliber, than
Pavlov.
what's the other Pavlov, right? This game plays very different. It has different mechanics. It's freaking dogs in it and drones. Like, this is a very different game. You can run and jump. There's a ton of weapons. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to be received on the Quest platform, because while the game, it's kind of going to be early access, not really. I mean, it's a full release. There's a lot more coming to this game after it gets released. It's still in a very comparable state to what it was when it launched on PlayStation VR, but there's one big difference, and it's a huge one, Roots. This game, unlike the PSVR release, this game is launching for $25, which is a good price for this game compared to the $40 that it launched for on PSVR. I think that they're going to have a much, much better reception on Oculus Quest 2 because of this. And 4 days, Roots. 4 days, we're going to have this one in our hands.
Oh, wow. How exciting. Well, and this is what this has been my biggest gripe for the games that you I love Contractors. I love Pavlov. I like a lot of the different maps. Everybody talks about the Call of Duty maps, and you go into Nuketown and it's Nuketown, and you feel like, oh my God, I'm in Nuketown. I've played this game my entire life. But what they don't nail in those games, at least for me, is the gameplay. The gameplay feels the same as it did without the skin of Nuketown. And so you're not having the chaos. You're not having the dogs you're getting and throwing out there. You're not having the drones. You're not having all the fast paced, right? The stuff that to me is the gameplay, which makes Call of Duty. So this is, to me, looks like the closest thing you're going to get to Call of Duty until they bring out an actual Call of Duty VR. And from what I'm hearing, from what people that have tried this can say, I can't say actually, but I think it's going to blow people away. So
yeah, I do too. And from what I'm hearing, the movement in this game is just phenomenal. Like, it's super, super fast paced. It's way faster paced than your typical multiplayer shooters. And again, it's going to continue to evolve past launch. Eventually, this thing is going to have full crossplay with PlayStation VR. In fact, if I understand correctly, they already have a couple of significant updates pretty much ready to roll for this game, but Oculus is kind of insisting that they wait a little, give it a little bit of time after launch. So this they just released earlier today via their Discord server. They've already got patch notes for the first two patches. So the first patch number 1, which will come 5 to 7 days after release on or about March the 24th. So we're going to get a new map called Factory. Let me click on this so I can read it a little bit better. Gun-oriented movement currently tracks the primary hand. We will be changing to the user's offhand, possibly an option for either. So a new control options, basically. And then team deathmatch and search and destroy matchmaking and balancing improvements. So that's patch 1. Patch 2 is basically 2 weeks after release, March 31st. They're going to add co-op zombie mode. They're going to add desert night and days maps. They're going to add haptic support for MagTube and bHaptics.
Nice.
They're going to integrate Oculus parties and travel systems recently met. They're adding a sticky grenade and a Molotov cocktail. So those are the first 2 patches already laid out. Both going to come out within 2 weeks of the original launch, and that's just the start, friends. It's just going to keep going as time goes on. I'm looking forward, Roots, not only to playing this, but again, seeing how the Quest community reacts to it, receives it, and then seeing how the communities play together, how the balancing goes when we have move controllers on one side, not move controllers, touch controllers on one side, and aim controllers on the other. That's when it's going to get really fun.
Oh my god! So which one would you play? Because the aim controller is the superior version, right? I guess as far as the aiming or the gun.
These are questions we are going to be answering in the coming weeks, Roots. I don't know currently, but we will know soon, and we will bring you that answer. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you click the big red subscribe button and the bell. We're going to answer all these questions and more as time goes on.
Hack says sliding downstairs and around corners is so fun. That's the thing, the movement, everything about it, and that's the gameplay. I keep stressing this. Doesn't matter what the game looks like if the gameplay is meh. So my prediction is that the one thing that killed this game, or I guess I didn't kill it because it's still here, right? On the PlayStation VR, at least at launch, was the price, like Wes said. Now they're getting a second chance. It's not very often that they get a second chance, and I predict the second chance is going to be what they wanted the first one to be. It's going to be received very well. That's my prediction.
Yeah, and when they do finally get crossplay worked out, if they time that update on the PlayStation Network with another significant upgrade, be it new weapons or a new map or something of that sort, to kind of draw the PlayStation players back in, all of a sudden the PSVR players are going to be coming back in to check out the new content, and lo and behold, the lobbies are going to have people in them, like more than before. It could be a revival of this game. Not that it's dead by any means. People play this on PlayStation. I'm saying it could reach new heights on the PlayStation Network based on the integration of crossplay.
Yep, absolutely. And Scion says touch controllers with Erector, bro. Absolutely.
There you go. He knows what's up. He knows what's up.
And it may have taken, there might have been a delay, but, Mist was mentioned, and here's Scion. He showed up. What's up, Scion?
He knows. He knows. He hears it, bro. He hears when we say that word. It's like Beetlejuice. Anyway, one more thing coming out. After all of that, 6 games that are being released on March 17th, we do also have one very, very significant update being released on March 17th, and that's the Population 1 Metropolis map from Big Box VR. All platforms, Quest, Rift, Steam VR, all getting this new map. And according to the Upload VR, it's the Metropolis map is its biggest, most complex area yet. So a huge update to Population 1, a game that we've been getting into recently, back into. And everything I'm seeing and hearing about this is phenomenal, Roots. What are we going to do, bro? I got to quit my job. I have to quit my job.
Yeah. Make this your job. That's what you need to do.
I'd love to make this my job. I'd love to make this my job. It's kind of the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then I could play all these games. I'd stream every day if I didn't have to go to work. I'd play all these games live. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah. Subscribe. Ring the bell.
If you want that to happen, if you want to see a stream from Wes every day, then help us grow, and we'll get to that level, right?
Yep, we're gonna hang out here, bro. Keep growing. We're at 1,500 now, by the way. 1,501, 1,502.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it. I knew we
All
could
right.
do it. Now
No,
we got to
go-
get to 2000.
No. Yep. Time to get to 2,000.
That's right.
That's actually a fairly significant one, 2,000. So looking forward to hitting that one. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's taken.
thank you guys.
Yeah, I think so. It takes a while to actually organically grow, and like you were saying to Between Realities when Alex was on there, and he was saying that they've got a smaller community, and that he wanted to be a bigger voice and wanted to get bigger, and what you said applies to us as well. You know what I mean? It's not even about the size of it; it's what you do with it, right? But no, it's about the community, right? We got one of the best communities out there, as well as Between Realities, kind of share a lot of the same people, and it doesn't matter. It's like I'd rather have our community at the size we are than some of the biggest ones that have the same size engagement as we do, right? It's crazy.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying to Alex and Skiva the other day through the chat, was that their subs are all real. And I can say that about our 1,500. It may just be 1,500, but it's legit 1,500. We didn't buy one of those. Those are all people, and it shows through our engagement, man. People show up week after week, show after show, to watch us do what we do best. And I love you all for that. And we keep it real here. And if it takes 10 years for us to get a big number next to our name, then it takes 10 years. But we're never, again, we're always going to stay true to what we do. And what we do is we make content for hardcore VR gamers. We do not make content for algorithms. And it's the way it's always going to be here. And that's that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Spry says the best kept secret on YouTube, and I agree. That's us. Look, I got the QTC thing on shirt.
Oh, I've got the Swarm.
I know.
Sure.
I was thinking Aaron and Kara
Shout
must
out
love
Swarm. Anyway, that's going to wrap up what's out this week and bring us to our next reminder. It's that time again, friends. It's that time where we call upon you to join us, to give 2 minutes of your time to support one of these developers that we've talked about today, or even another developer, by taking just a moment to wishlist the game. Go with us right now in real time. Wishlist the game, something that we've talked about today that you're interested in, something that's been on your mind. It's important. It helps raise the profile of these games on the different platforms. It helps people gauge interest. It's extremely important to what these studios are doing, and it's a very small thing for us. It's just a couple clicks. So I'm going to go, Roots, onto Steam right now, and I'm going to wish list the Atlas Mystery, a VR puzzle game, because we talked about it earlier, and I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. And this Scion asked in the chat, this is my answer to Scion. He said, what about Myst? Well, this is it. They're touting this as a Myst type of puzzle game. And it looks pretty cool. You should check it out, Scion. You might enjoy it. And Scion, have you tried Wanderer yet?
Oh yeah, you got to play Wanderer, Scion. Like, for real, dude.
That's
You're
your
gonna
game.
love that game.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
Anyway, basically, Scion, nothing about Myst, dude. We're talking about a puzzle game. And like all puzzle games, they claim inspiration from Myst. That's all. That's it. We just assumed that since we said the word Myst that you were going to show up. And sure enough, you did.
Yep.
Anyway, here I am on the page, the Steam page for Atlas Mystery. Planned release date, March 31st. Add to your wish list, yes. One friend wants this game, it says, and that friend is I Am Roots. I Am Roots wants this game.
Nice. I just see. You can see that Wes just truth checked me in real time. What's funny is you need to check it out, Scion, for sure. That game is amazing. It's definitely up your alley. And one thing I do want to mention on Mash's YouTube channel and on his Facebook group, If you go to, I guess either one of them, you'll see there's a video for ALVO. I was going to mention it during the ALVO segment, but I forgot. ALVO is giving away not only a game every day of ALVO on through the Facebook group, but they're also giving away an Oculus Quest 2. That's,
What?
Yeah, the $300 model. And if I thought about this a lot because my name is going to go in the drawing. I did put it in there. Scion, if you will use it, if I win it, it's going to you, bro. Then all you have to do is buy the optics, $50-$60, and you'll have an amazing time and in between your index. So,
And in time, you won't even have to have a Facebook account for it. You could register it with a simple Meta account.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no. Anyway, that's amazing. Thank you to Martin Paul Incorporated for sponsoring this giveaway on the Q2C community. It's amazing. Again, that's a copy of ALVO being given away every day on the Facebook group, and then when's the drawing for the Quest 2, Ruuts?
I think about it's like 3 or 4 days. I know basically you can the info's there for specifics, but there's 2 chances to enter. You can enter through the Facebook group and you can enter through the YouTube. So if you go to both, MASH has a video and explanations on what to do and when it's set up. But I would go as soon as possible, and then you might win a Quest 2. How amazing would that be, right?
Yeah, Q2C community on Facebook. There is a link in the description below. Be sure you get over there, check it out. Get your free headset, guys. That's amazing. Even if you've already got one, enter. I have 2, and it's not enough. I need a 3rd one.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if wife entered in for it, because we really do need another headset here.
Well,
We've been holding off because we know that other ones are coming this year. Hopefully. I guess we don't know, right?
You got multiple people in that house. You could enter. Your daughter could enter. You know, she could have her own headset.
And
How crazy would that be?
Here's the thing. With the exception of my youngest, they all play more VR than I do. Like now, like over the last 2 to 3 months, it's gotten to the point where they play every day. I can't play every day. They play every day. That's nuts, man. It's nuts that I have all these headsets and it's not enough.
That is crazy. Well, it's like I said, we've entered that moment where television entered, where you didn't have one per household. Became 2, 3. Now they're in every room, and pretty soon they're going to be in every room. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyway, that's going to bring us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to help support us, our channel, our community, your channel, your community, Virtual Strangers. Of course, if you're new, the best way to help is by clicking the big red button, ring the bell. That way you can stay up to date with all of our content here on the Virtual Strangers channel. And believe me, friends, the content's about to be picked up in a very tangible way. So you're going to want to make sure you hit that bell. If you want to do something a little bit extra, something a little more to help build us up, you can support us on Patreon. All we ask is $3 per month, not per week, $3 per month. We will send you our weekly show notes, which more and more each week becomes like a newsletter with all kinds of cool stuff linked in it. You get it before the show. You get it like 2 to 3 hours before the show. So you already know what we're going to talk about going in. You already have watched all the videos and know what I'm going to say, or at least a good percentage of it. But that's not all. You get insider updates. You get exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week. And you get peace of mind knowing that you did your part to help build up our awesome community. So thank you to all those out there who support us on Patreon. And Ruuts, I finally updated the outro. We have a legit up-to-date outro that we're going to be running today with everybody's name that's supporting us on Patreon. It's all current, at least for the next hour or two, until someone else either removes their donation or becomes a patron, and then we'll make another one. The moral of the story is that I went back into that game and reshot that background again so that I can now update, keep it updated. So
Nice.
we're back on track there.
Yeah. How crazy?
Last
How crazy is it that like in the past we've said that it's cheaper than a quad venti white mocha. Now I'm now in 2022, and this time I have to say it's cheaper than a gallon of gas. You know what I mean? And depending on where you live, especially if you live in the EU, fuck man, you might as well be getting a Starbucks coffee for almost $8 a gallon.
Yeah, we might have to bump it up to 5 here sometime this year, right? Just to keep up with the times.
It's crazy, man.
Anyway, last but not least, we want to remind you that there is an invitation down below to the Virtual Strangers Discord server, which is where we all dwell when we're not in front of cameras or inside of headsets. We're on Discord. Half the time that we are on camera and inside of the headset, we're still on Discord. It's something that we use all day, every day to network for multiplayer games. We share hardware tips for people who are looking to get consoles or graphics cards. We talk about the VR news of the day. We talk about the flat gaming news of the day. We just don't talk about the actual news of the day. We don't do that anymore because it turns people into assholes, and we don't like that.
It's too spicy.
Too spicy. Too spicy.
Yeah.
That's mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got rid of the politics discussion. But everything else is on the table, and we do and we'll talk about that lovingly, friendly, in this wonderful community that can now be your wonderful community. All you have to do is click the link below and stop by and say hello.
Come home, please.
Come on home.
Yeah.
Anyway, Zayla Maru says the show notes are nice. They're getting better, right? Like I keep tweaking them, reorganizing them. I'm a kind of a stickler for formatting. If you guys couldn't tell, they don't just automatically turn out all nice and neat like that. I'm kind of a little OCD with the formatting on them. But yeah, they're super nice this week because there's extra stuff at the bottom. There's like 5 or 6 extra things at the bottom that we didn't even bring up on the screen for the show. So go check that stuff out. Go check out your Prey Dog video, and go check out your 30 to 45 minutes of Cities VR footage. And there's 3 articles in there on new releases, games that didn't make the headlines because they were new releases. I just moved them down here. Anyway, with all that said, friends, we'd like to thank you once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you Tuesday. Bye.
Take it easy.
Mm-hmm.